Okay, and then I know you let me know if you can't hear us. All right. Good afternoon. We got a workshop that's about to start. Today's date, July 21st, 2026. Commissioner Head is at a seminar right now. If you'll please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance, followed with a prayer. I pledge allegiance to the flag, United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Commissioner Williams will lead us in prayer.
Dear Heavenly Father, thank you for this day that you have granted us. Thank you for the rain that you have bestowed upon our county. Father, be with us as we do the budget workshop today that is presented in front of us. Guide us and direct us in all that we do. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. All right, we got numerous groups here, and we're going to start off with the soil conservation first. A few notes. So, commissioners, we haven't gotten the certified numbers yet. It's supposed to be in. We thought it was going to be in last week, and then thought maybe it's going to be Monday. It's going to be Wednesday. Tomorrow sometime we'll have our certified numbers in. So, of course, we need these certified numbers for all these groups to figure out what we're going to do. And one main thing we got to do today is give direction to our treasurer Campbell. Clear direction on what we're going to do on all this stuff. So she started working all these mini numbers. She's got a process. So any comments or questions before we start? I will start off with the soil conservation group. Mr. Barrington is signed up to speak. And I don't know if anybody else agrees. Mr. Barrington, you'll come up to the microphone. I believe it's on. Hope it is. Mr. Barrington, good afternoon, sir. So I'll prep things up. First off, we've had numerous meetings. We've been giving soil water conservation $5,000 since about 2021, 2022. The proposal is you're asking for $10,000, and you're going to tell us why you need this increase. Okay. Okay. All right, go ahead.
I've got a piece of paper that I'm giving
Sure.
one of you. I'm just basically going to read off of this piece of paper. And basically, it lets you know what this money does, where it goes, and what happens with it. And this was what I told you this earlier that I wanted to talk to you about, Dale, when we never did get together. So,
And you can leave a copy here for Commissioner Head. I'll make sure he gets it.
Okay. Basically, Soil Water Conservation District takes care of a whole lot of different things in the county. One of the main things they take care of is maintenance on the 16 flood control structures in the county.
Mm-hmm.
And the way I understand it, we share the responsibility for that with the county. And we have taken the lead in that. And the money that we're requesting is, okay, my sheet that I gave you is requesting $7,500. Okay, and that $7,500. The reason we chose that number is because if we get locally $7,500, we get matching funds from the state soil and water conservation district of $7,500. So if we can hit the maximum there on our request, then we get the maximum back from the state. This money goes directly into a trust account that is managed by the Soil and Water Conservation District by the Board of Directors. The Board of Directors of the Soil and Water Conservation District are Keith Brooks, Tommy Head, W.J. Hopper, and myself. And we comprise the Soil and Water Conservation District. There's other things that we do. There's community outreach things that we do. There's contests, soil and water conservation contests that we oversee. There's quite a few different things that we do, but basically the money is all put back into the county. It doesn't go anywhere else. It goes locally for either our kids or our flood control structures.
Okay.
So are there any questions?
So your request is $7,500.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
You know, there's been some questions about what is involved if the county tries to do something. I know we've had some concerns with commissioners previously, which I don't blame you. You know, to get up on all those heavy, tall dams can be dangerous. And that's where I think we were concerned about having to do any like dam repair work. Safety first. We just didn't really want to go out to do that.
Right.
And I'll let some of these commissioners speak. Regarding maintenance work, you also told me that you're looking at hiring some help to do this
Yes,
possible spraying and stuff, which
yeah,
is gonna be.
especially, part of that is weed control, part of that is debris removal. Part of that is just basic grunt work that, as you can see, the board itself is mostly older men and not really people who want to get out and do that. So we do hire that done. We hire people to spray weeds on the weed control. And the dams are inspected periodically by engineers, and the engineers will tell us what needs to happen on that. In fact, we just got the report in on 5 of the dams that need work right now. And, so we have chosen the role of overseeing, working on these dams. And like I say, it's a role we share with the county. So that's the reason for our request.
Okay, commissioners, any questions?
The only thing I've got is, seems like a good portion of the dams are in precinct 3. And, 2 years ago, I think, it was Tom Davis, Keith Brooks. We had a deal set up. They hired a private contractor. They had some money that year to do some work on those dams. And the private contractor came about August, and I think y'all are on the same time frame that we are. Came about August, and he called me and said, I'm not gonna be able to do that work. So I don't know if y'all retain your money, but the dams we were looking at, and I don't know the dams by, I just know them by whose places they're on. Was Carl Ray Hortz's dam, Tommy Head's dam, and Shauna Dotson, I guess is who it would be now. And, all of those structures, they're 60, 70 years old.
There's a lot of them in the 50s.
And, so, you know, that's a lot of it, but the majority of what we looked at 2 years ago was created by Caltrax. And so there's probably gonna have to be some fencing, I know on one of them, done before you even attempt to work on them, because there's no.
Grazing control has been an issue in some of these, and that's largely something that we have actually just sent out several letters to the owners of the property that the dams are on, and requesting that they, you know, lighten the grazing of the cattle in the area, and lighten the cattle trails through there, and you know, the stuff like that. But, and I'm gonna, you know, Tom was doing a pretty good job, but Tom got pretty sick there towards the end. And we now have a new clerk, our new clerk is Brittany, who's sitting here, and Brittany is taking care of the light work that Tom always took care of. And we hope to be able to address the problems, you know, before they become serious.
Yeah.
And there's also, excuse me,
Go ahead.
there's also some statutory requirements. I think Brittany informed me that the counties are supposed to take care of with the Soil Conservation District, correct? That's where you came in office. Okay,
Yeah,
That-
so it's a shared responsibility between the county commissioners court and we're co-sponsors. The SWCD is a co-sponsor with the county. Those original agreements that were done back, you know, 50s, 60s, the county actually had the O&M responsibility, which would be all of the maintenance on these flood prevention sites. And then historically, the soil and water conservation district has kind of taken the lead on that. But that doesn't do away with who's actually responsible, you know, so if something were to happen, the county is responsible also, so it's good that everybody's aware of what these agreements say. Especially moving forward, I think the change of commissioners, the change of the board members, I think some of that information gets lost over the years, and so it's probably just something, a discussion that needs to happen every year, with new landowners, board members, commissioners, that just everybody's aware that these exist in the county, and basically who's responsible for maintaining them.
okay.
A lot of the work that we looked at 2 years ago, one of them, I'm just, again, gonna go back to his property there.
Yeah.
Tommy Heads, there is a meter from Comanche County Electric Co-op on the other side. That is a very unsafe dam to work on top of.
Yeah.
We're not gonna do it. I mean,
Well,
that's his point
You're
blank.
saying county employees are not gonna do it.
They're not qualified.
And that means that we need to contract with somebody
Yeah.
to do it, and yes, that's one of the things that we need to do.
We're not gonna put anybody's life at risk, even on the backsides of those things where it's gonna require a bulldozer. We don't even have a bulldozer. And we could do more damage in 3 hours than what a qualified person can fix in 2.
A lot of that major work like that talked about, the state actually pays for that, or even the Fed gets involved. So if it's major structural repairs, you know, engineer has to come out, that's stuff that we would not ask the county to do. I mean, those are major repairs that either the state gets involved and pays for. You're talking lots of money when you've got.
Yeah.
Engineering firms.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
And the state code.
Well, that's what we were supposed to try to help with 2 years ago. But-
see, we're talking about just basic maintenance. A lot of this is like brush control and spraying and weeds and things like that. This is not, major structural repairs are done by the state or even the Fed gets involved. Yeah. You're talking about, you know, hazardous dams that could have homes underneath, or, you know, what, and that's TCEQ gets involved, that's a big deal.
Well, that was not the understanding 2 years
Well,
ago.
that's why we're here. You're okay.
So-
That's where we are now.
You know,
Yes, sir.
the other thing also is I have talked before, even 2 years ago. Jim Allison is the head lawyer for TAC. And he said it is very muchly still up in the air where the counties can't even do anything on a national supported government dam.
Right, it's absolutely the county. And we looked at all those contracts.
But they're from
And
nineteen
those
fifty.
contracts go right back to the county, but now the state still does the inspections. And we still have state engineers that come out and inspect for major issues.
Okay.
And the major issues that are gonna be major expenditures are not gonna be done at the county level.
Other thing too is we keep getting, some, emails, I guess, pictures of the different dams. I can't even realize which dam is what.
Right. And I mean, I've been on this board for 2 years now, and I still don't know all the dams and all.
But it's showing, homes built in the flood
There are
sections.
some. We did find that on our latest survey. There are homes that are built in the emergency floodplain below these dams. And we don't know if they've been built since then, or they're built by landowners in spite of knowing this. We don't know who did it, but it shouldn't have been done.
Commissioner Williams, go ahead, sir.
So we're asking for 7,500
Yes, sir.
and you're asking for labor to go out and work on these dams, 5 dams is what I'm getting.
We might occasionally need labor, but most often we're gonna contract with labor. We're not gonna ask the county to do it. Okay,
Okay, I was just trying to figure out
most historically,
from the commissioner's side of it,
right,
what I'm trying to say,
historically,
because
contracted labor now. You know, of course, if it's something like weed control, it's relatively simple. We take all, yeah.
Our commissioners have been a little bit busy with floods and all
I
that.
understand when it rains like this, there's a lot.
Well, commissioners, I'm fine with 7,500. You
Yes.
have any comments on that or? Sound good?
Sounds good.
I'd like to-
15,000 caps. It's 15,000 caps.
Yeah, 75, if we get raise 7,500 locally, the state matches 7,500, put in our trust.
Judge, we might put this on a future agenda to relook at those agreements. If they're 60 and 70 years old.
Sure, after budget. we can-
Yeah. That's what I meant, not now,
Sure.
but I just,
Just wouldn't hurt to look and dig them up, okay?
we don't want the same thing happening like,
And then if you'll remind us after budget, we'll look up those agreements.
Oh, they've been researching these agreements
Yeah,
and,
see what you can find.
they have the information on the original agreements on a whole lot of these structures.
If you're making an encounter about after September, the first contact me, we'll visit and work on that, okay?
Yeah, I would love to be out there. This-
Yes, that's good. It's good to know what was going on. Thank you, Bernard. Thank you. Anything else? Any other questions? Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, volunteer fire departments, thanks everybody for coming, and we're gonna try to figure this out. And we want y'all to know, where beside, I don't know what we're gonna do. It's no disrespect in the VFD, like I said many times, we got the 4 best VFDs anywhere around. And y'all get to go out on fires when you're trying to have a weekend at home and whatnot, so we appreciate all your work. Mr. Now, you wanna go first today? And we can just go through and then whoever's up next, go from there. What you're requesting? Good afternoon, Mr. Now.
Good evening. Okay, we requested the 26, I believe.
Showing 25,695.
That's our insurance and our fuel, which insurance has gone low, insurance, fuel, all of our expenses have gone out of sight. I don't know if y'all realize what our, not just our department, all 4 departments. But we had gone over the runs, we're running anywhere from 100 to 150 something a year. Man hours, we're looking at 900 to 1,600 hours, and on what I've got, I do not have our meetings in there, I do not have our maintenance time for, and training, that's just the runs. A lot of what we do is traffic control. And it just seems like we keep getting a little more and a little more.
And there's a lot of wrecks in the county.
There's several wrecks. I mean, us and Mullen probably have the largest amount because of the highways that go through our territories. But I brought a new map of the areas, territories, or whatever you want to call them, that you can look at and see. I don't know. We say, you talk about the taxpayers, but you don't realize what we're saving. You go looking at the man hours that we put in. We're saying, the sheriff's department, there is no way that they can do the traffic control that we handle. If they did, they would have to pull off, 4 deputies in or off you, you're gonna have to pay them overtime. And so, need to keep all of that in consideration of what the 4 departments give to the county. I mean, we go in our personal vehicles, use our personal fuel.
Training.
Yes. And to the scenes on all of these calls, you'll have numerous people go POV. And that's their person to do it.
One thing, our infrastructure right here, your fireman's pension, I can't remember, Treasurer Campbell, I told you, it was 1,600, and it's going up to 2,000, and we match it what the city does in fireman's pension.
To my understanding.
So I can't remember, I told you the 2,000 not being one.
They also remember the city just purchased nearly $500,000 fire truck.
Yes, yes.
We have upgraded all of our trucks. The new rescue truck, we financed ourselves in-house.
Is that the one that's the one you have on here?
We have a new brush truck coming that was done, match grant through the forestry service. It's around 265,000
And that's already grant for your new shop.
for the new warehouse, yes.
Good.
And we have to match those.
Well, every one of you VFDs do great on your fundraisers too. I know y'all was out there last month, whenever it was.
It's unreal what the community gives to the fire departments, but it takes a lot to operate.
So you're saying that the city of Goldthwaite bought outright the fire truck?
They purchase the truck and donate and give it to the.
And so
EDC
100%,
too.
100%.
Well, the city of Gulfport purchased it. They got money from the EDC and.
Y'all don't have to pay it back or anything like that? Okay.
It will be tied to the Gulfport Fire Department.
Okay. Any questions? You want to have your next group come up, David come up next?
David had this one to speak.
Mr. Forth, good afternoon. Come on up here. How's your knee doing? Getting around a little bit? Real good.
Thank y'all for having us. I
Glad you're here.
kind of reiterate a little bit of what Kevin said and some numbers, because I'm the only one in the county that's been part of this fire system for 50 years. So, we've grown tremendously and all of that. But in 2025, we had 112 runs. 16 of those were in the city limits out of the 112. And a lot of those were traffic control with the underpass, the T on the Blue 15. So, and we've had in the county, we've had 35 service calls, which that mostly is vehicle rescues and, you know, just general traffic control out in the fire, so. And that includes, well, I said the traffic control, lift assist for the EMS, landing helicopters and things like that, but 85% of our calls are still out in the county, outside of the city limits. So, and I went back that year and took how many people went on all of the calls. So we had 840 man hours on calls. We have 22 meetings a year. That we do some maintenance, training and business meetings. So that was 450 hours of that. And just approximately 250 hours on maintenance, repairs. And so we're looking at 1,500 hours a year that our 31 volunteers give to the community. If you average that out, that's about 30 hours a week that's donated to the county. The insurance, as Kevin said, has gone out of sight, and some of that's because we have had, replaced some of our 20 to 22-year-old trucks with a newer model, and of course, they were worth a whole lot more money. So once we get the new brush truck and the pumper and the rescue, that's $1.1 million worth of equipment that we will, have. And Mullen and Star both received the Forest Service grant, so they will have the vehicles there. Anyway, so it's hard to, I just hope y'all can see fit to help us with the insurance and our fuel, so we can continue to operate the way we were. It would just, we raise somewhere between $60,000 and $70,000 a year, but, when you start buying tires, you run into grass fire, things like that, you can repairs, you can go through that money, and if we have to give up 30 to 35% of our fundraiser and put into insurance and fuel, then we're gonna be really having to watch our P's and Q's, and we don't just spend money because it's something we want. We discuss our purchases, unless it's just minor things, at every meeting. We vote on every time we're going to spend something. So, we're pretty frugal with our money, so we've been putting back for several years. It allowed us to, buy a $269,000 rescue truck, which is just top of the line for a county our size. And so, anyway, I just hope that y'all see fit to help us, and that we know that y'all are supporting us and behind us. So, sure, that's all I've got.
Okay,
Any questions?
questions, commissioners?
Maybe Kevin can help too, David. So on this income statement y'all sent, you only spent $600 on fuel for the year.
That
Last
should have
year.
been propane for the propane tank, and we do, we put gas in those, all the trucks with pumps on, engine pumps, sometimes we buy gas for that, so.
Okay.
They have fuel cards and that's all it be.
So do we know how much that fuel amount actually is?
Somewhere around $3,000, give or take, a year.
That's what I was trying to get, that right there.
Our insurance right now is right at 20,000. We got a notice that it would go up 8%, so we're looking at this, it would be like 22,000 this next year. So that's where I come up with the figure that I had, but in the meantime, I've been looking at those other insurance.
For a quote, good. Well, I know you've been checking around.
Yes.
Okay. Any other questions from Mr. Schwartz? Well, Mr. Schwartz, thank you for coming. Well, and Mr. McCoy is up next. Mr. McCoy, you want anything you want to add?
You got something you want to say?
And also the other VFDs, you're sure welcome to come talk to us. Now keep it under 20 minutes, okay?
Dang it.
I've been on the market for 27 years, I believe. Anyway, I've been through a lot with David and everything else. We use a lot of our own equipment for a lot of fires and everything else, and then trust me, I know what the insurance costs and fuel costs and everything else that we do. And there's few that work for me, including myself, we use all our own rigs to help out the fire department, so. Just saying, I know exactly what we're coming at against. Insurance price is getting high, fuel getting higher and everything else. I think we
Okay,
need to do something.
all right, any questions, Commissioner McCoy?
Scott, do you know on the repairs part of it, is tires included in that too? Is into that repairs account? Okay. Thank you, Scott.
Okay, Ms. Lori, you'd like to come up and talk for a moment?
Doing double duty today.
Yeah.
We're not as fancy, not fancy, but we don't have the numbers put together like what Gulfway does. We're working on getting organized. We're trying to build the fire department. We're going on more reps for traffic control. We are, investing in more training for our members. Our needs right now are equipment. We don't have the PPE. Bunker gear is super expensive. I don't know about all that. George could probably tell you that. Wildland firefighting gear, the boots, the gloves, the helmets, we're behind on all of the PPE. Our auto insurance, the actual cost last year was $56.98. We have received a grant for a large brush truck from the Forest Service. Once that is on board, our equipment is old. We have one new truck and the rest are older. Once that truck is on, we're gonna switch out an older one, but it's gonna increase our costs. We also have a water storage building separate from the fire station, so we have electric at two different places. That's about $200 a month. We pay workers' comp for firefighters, so if they're injured, they're covered. That's $1,500 a year. And our,
Question that, does everybody have workers' comp? On their fire people?
Kevin,
You do, okay. Kevin, Court,
you have workers' comp?
Not this time, you know.
Ours is an accident policy. And their workers are all of the big insurance companies I have talked to, they're pushing for the fire departments to get it.
Okay,
like I said, we're running older vehicles that didn't have really good maintenance, so we're catching up on that. So we have those costs. I ran the numbers and I believe we had 27 calls. But it may have been more. What I could come up with, 27 calls in 2025. I know that from January 1st to the middle of February, we had 20. Actually. But we're trying to assist on medicals. Lift assist. They're starting to pay us out. We're trying to provide increased response, more reliable response, and I think we're doing a good job. We're also trying to build up our PPE and our training. There's some that have expressed interest in going to an actual, like a weekend training course that costs money.
Sure.
Yes.
Okay. Well, good report.
does the city of Mullen support in any way?
So the city of Mullen has now allowed us to tie into their water. And what we voted on this last meeting was to pay their electric bill for the city hall, or which is the community center. But we were on the Masonic Lodge well, and of course they closed that down, and they were supposed to leave the well up for us, and they shut it off inside the building. So we spent a weekend tying into the city's well And we also put in a water catchment system. So
What is the little building out on 509?
that's water well, and there's water storage there.
The fire department or
Yeah.
city of Monroe?
Nope, that belongs to the fire. I think,
Is that something like?
don't quote me on that, I think that there's 7,500 gallons there, it may be 10. And then we know that we increased our water storage, we doubled it at the fire station, we have 10,000 at the fire station now. Actual storage tanks.
And so I'll follow up question is just like I asked Goldthwait, do you know what your actual fuel cost is a year?
It's about $1,500 a year. Of course, that's
Average?
average.
Okay.
I can tell you this last year, the last, actually 2 years have been probably more than that. And then you add in the cost of fuel too, that's.
Okay.
That's, so.
Okay, other questions for Ms. King?
No.
All right, Lori, thank you. And, Kevin, you want to come up and speak, sir? Horace? Two Kevins here. No? Okay, so.
Good, I'd like to, you got
Sure, come on. Yes, sir. You're always welcome to speak. Yes, sir.
I think that it's important, and I'm sure I'm just gonna be reiterating some things, but just as y'all are bearing these things in mind. I'll tell you some of the things that the fire departments do to assist us at the sheriff's office, and one of the reasons that comes to mind this morning as we were discussing a school emergency response. When we look at that, and each one of you know exactly how many deputies we have at any one time. And when we think of perimeters around those schools, that takes quite a bit of manpower to fulfill that perimeter. We know that there will be agencies that will come to assist us. But we also know that initial response is going to have to be handled by someone other than law enforcement, because law enforcement is going to respond to what's taking place inside the school. And then anything that happens outside the school, keeping all of those others out, requires the response of volunteer fire departments. And we know that we have a volunteer fire department in each place that we have a school. So in thinking about them, while you're making these considerations on how you're going to support your fire departments, they are instrumental in what we do there for school safety as well. When we think about Goldthwait Independent School District, the response that's necessary there is about 15 people initially. So when we think of the support for our fire departments, them knowing that y'all support them in any manner that you can is very vital to even our community. So it's important. Then when we think of crashes and things of that nature, traffic control, there's still a very morning that's very fresh in my mind where we had a crash underneath the underpass and a crash on the loop at the same time. There again, that's one of those circumstances where how many deputies do we have that can respond at any one time? And we've got two of the major arteries leading out of Goldthwait that are blocked, and the only one that's there to help us with that traffic control are those volunteer firemen that respond with those emergency vehicles. And we think about that kind of a circumstance, that's very important to us too. So while you're making those considerations, I know that you will think of the things for our very small sheriff's office, how important volunteer fire departments are to us in that response as well.
I agree. Sheriff,
Judge, thank you.
Thank you. So commissioners, of course, I know we all want to support the departments, fire departments. The request, what we're getting requests for, Mullen had requested $12,500. Pretty had requested $9,637. I talked to Ed Sanders numerous times and he said, whatever y'all give us, fine with him. So those are the proposals. What I'm thinking is Starmont and Pretty should all be the same, whatever amount it is. I mean, I hate to start going by cost. I mean, how many runs you have, because one may have more one year, one more the next year. I know Mullen's been real busy on fires the first quarter. What are y'all thoughts, commissioners, on figures?
Well, the total ask is about 50% increase. All the way, I mean, if you do it across the board, so. With the biggest increase, it looks like to me, when I do read all this, the biggest increase is insurance. And insurance is hammering them right now. I mean, just the insurance alone is 80% higher in Pretty. So I mean, they're not, the 2,000 is barely doing anything, so. I agree that there's gotta be an increase, but whew,
Yeah, I know, and we all support them. I want to keep supporting all we can, so that's why we're all here.
yeah.
Appreciate everybody coming.
So
Uh,
are we suggesting an actual number?
so,
Yes, that's what I was gonna
Okay.
propose. I was just telling what was presented, what they're wanting, and we need to come up with some kind of number just so we can get moving along.
right,
I think, your little fire departments at some point in time got way behind. They were at $1,500. We moved them to 2,000, I don't know, a year or two back, something like that. I would think if you're gonna increase one, each entity gets increased the same amount.
Percentage wise,
Well, just dollar wise.
dollar wise.
well, if you do a percentage, then the higher one's gonna always get
No,
more,
I'm talking about
yeah.
dollar wise.
Yeah.
But I mean, and I do realize Goatway does a whole lot of traffic control. Um. Oh crap, I'm thinking about funeral processions, block traffic for, us down. Very,
Gulfport is responsible for a little over 50% of the county. Our first responder is about 50% of the county. That's
Yeah.
another thing.
I didn't know
Yeah, I
what
haven't
that
looked at the
was.
map.
Kevin bought it. That's something we've always wondered because even Mullen, when we were talking about the solar farms, where the solar farm is actually, and I know they'll go there, but it's actually controlled by Indian Creek. Now where they were proposing the other solar farm, that was actually patrolled by Zephyr in their area. Not that any fire department wouldn't go help out, but I've never seen a map that had the,
Let's see, we all.
Yeah. yeah.
I mean, if we need help, they come help us, if they need help, we go help them.
Yeah,
Anybody have any figures you want to throw out or anything?
personally, I think they all ought to go up $3,000 a year. That'd be a $12,000 hit if the budget, it will even allow.
So you're talking about everybody, $3,000.
And what is let's see, Goldthwait right now is 13.
Go with 13.5,
Yeah.
16.5,
16.5.
and the others would be 5,000.
And that might not be acceptable, but I know last year when we started this whole process, we had $1 million deficit budget. Well, the county can't do that either.
Mr. Sullivan, any comments from you, sir?
The only thing I know is we're talking about insurance, but you better start looking at your fuel too. It's not coming down to the number. It's going up. And as much runs as they have,
And
You can propose a different number.
is Star,
I talked to Ed Sanders 2 or 3 times. He said, whatever we give him is fine with him. Because I tried to give me a number. He never gave me a number.
well, I'd be curious of what their fuel budget is too. So if I'm guessing that 1,500,
I don't know what their fuel budget is. Robert had means of their insurance and it was basically about what Freddie's was. Like $11,000 a year.
And again, I don't want anything to be against Goldthwait. If Goldthwait still gets more, I don't think that's gonna be the case. More than Freddie, I mean, they do have more equipment to do a lot of parts. I don't think there's an issue there. It's their, Mullen and Freddie. I'm talking about what they get, because they do have more of the county on the road sort of stuff they do, and also their vehicles and stuff. And pay more in insurance. I don't think you're all asking to be the same amount as Goldthwait, so I'm getting you, correct? Yeah,
No,
yeah.
and but the way we approach the Mullins Fire Department, I know we're behind
No,
time, we're trying to get
build up.
speed, but how we approach it, we're not the Mullins Fire Department, we belong to the county. We belong to whoever needs us, and we're not gonna, they do a lot more, they have a lot more training, a lot more equipment. There's. Understood completely.
Jason, any figures you got thrown out or?
No, they've answered a lot of my questions. I just don't know where we're gonna go with it.
What if we did 5, 5, and 5, and 20 to go with? That gonna be an issue for anybody on that?
Well, that means you're basically covering insurance for two of them and you're not for one. But I mean,
They basically covered insurance for two and not for two.
yeah. So if insurance is our goal, it just depends on what our goal is and what we want to do here. If we just want to support the systems, then we can just come up with a figure of
Yeah.
across the board that equals across the board. Say we're gonna give $60,000 total and divide it that way, or 50,000 or 40,000, whatever figure you want to do there. But right now, what's the total asking? You have that, got that total?
I don't have the total for all four,
All right.
26, 12, 5, 38, 39.
59, 60,000.
What, about 45 or so?
I think for it goes much deeper than that, you're gonna have to get your,
I don't know that I would.
you're gonna have to get your numbers and see where you're at.
Total is 51,000.
That's not counting star, is it?
3,000. If we just did the 2,000. Somebody said 2,000.
Yeah, he just said, what are we giving fine? They've always requested 2,000, yeah. Yeah,
So where's your numbers coming from?
I'll come by the worksheet. The budget request.
And there were, off budget requests.
25,695 for the Oakland Fire Department. Fireman's pension is 2,000, and the mowing is 12,500. The pretty is 9,637, and the star is 2,000. Those are the initial requests.
Yeah, additional, cause what we're doing right now is 13,500 and 6,000.
That's the number you're asking.
Yeah, less than 20. Or around 20.
so you're proposing 18.5, go play, what number? You're thinking 3,000
3,000 for each entity,
each entity, 16.5,
and then extra $12,000 a year.
okay. You don't get at that, or?
Yeah. If y'all want it to be more, I do think your little fire departments at 1,500 and then 2,000. Talking about insurance, have gotten way behind on insurance in the years past. So
So-
I'm not saying we can make that up, but I think you gotta start somewhere.
I wouldn't be against numbers like 10, 10, 10, 10, and 10, and then 20 for Goldthwait.
Okay.
But that's a little more than what
Yeah.
than their total they're asking, but you don't have to raise it the next few years.
Sure.
And then we could always go down in the budget.
Yeah.
But
Don't.
it sounds like to me, the fire departments have been,
Yeah, I agree.
but the other side is I think Dale may have mentioned this a couple months back. It's not our job to run the volunteer fire department. It's our job to assist
Sure.
into that. But I've also heard several other people do that. That's why we have the fundraisers and assist with the
Sure.
fundraisers. So, but
So 10.
hearing
10,
what they're saying,
Yeah.
hearing what they're saying is that it's a major necessity
Oh, it
for the
is.
county. So,
And we're lucky to have such a good group.
I mean,
Well,
Oh, I'm old enough, Kevin remembers that our Pretty's volunteer fire department was the high school boys. And that's honest God truth, you'd wet burlap sacks and bound back of Melvin Holler's truck, and here you go. It was the ag boys before Pretty ever got the truck. I am by no means, anti against them. And as Kevin, I did body work and then paint stuff on the first truck that Freddie ever had. Can't remember what year that was, back in the eighties somewhere.
Well,
So we definitely supported.
well, if you go back and look in the records down there in the clerk's office, the county used to do a lot of, actually, they did a lot of maintenance, they did a lot of purchasing. Used our money for the background grants. David might remember this, they bought some trucks and stuff, the county did years ago. Roger Horton was part of that, one of them, and his name's on the list, but And-
Cash in 1970 and then another one in 1988.
and I've been on here 14 years and I don't think we've been asked to help do anything.
You start doing that kind of stuff, you get over into this, that accounting grid or versus volunteer.
But the statute says that we may assist in those maintenance issues, and that's what statute says. But again, what I'm saying, we haven't done that in, golly, one was Roger Horton. He was the last one, so.
Well, Commissioner Williams, I like the
So, but-
suggestion of 10, 10, and 10, and then 20. That's around 50,000 is low. That's what Goldblake wanted Kevin now. But, I think that's a lot more money than we've been funding previously. It's, more than double for all the vehicles.
But,
Pardon?
It helps the other department.
Oh, yes.
Just want to let y'all know that Annette says that the people that are in the audience that are not stepping up to the
Okay.
microphone
Can't hear.
cannot be heard. So this conversation is not
Yeah.
here able to hear on the phone.
that's all right. We'll hear it on.
I think we wrapped up. So, okay, that's what I'm gonna recommend to Ms. Campbell. That's good with everybody. 10,000 the store, Mullen and Pretty each, and then 20,000 go.
That's not even gonna, that won't leave anything for fuel, no, that our insurance is gonna cost money with the new truck. that's here.
But you're only getting 13.5 now.
We didn't get nothing for that.
Yeah, we didn't get any reimbursement 2 years.
Now, is that on us?
Well,
We didn't get, like, what current again.
So it's not on us then. Correct.
So there, it just got moved to general fund.
It starts out in the general fund, but the county cannot release it without a request.
Right. That's,
And that is not.
again, I mean, we can put, this is still gonna be put in the budget. If you don't ask for it, it doesn't go to you.
Well, and let's look, again, we want to keep doing it as much as we can too, every year. Like I said, y'all do a great job. Help y'all we can.
I mean, we can go back, once we get the numbers, Judge,
Okay.
you can go
We can
back
go
and
back.
you can make that recommendation. You're just wanting a number from us right now, right?
Yes. Well, let's look at that. We don't have our certified numbers yet. I'll be in contact with Goldblake possibly up to 25, okay? Let's do 10, 10, 10, and 20 right now as it stands, okay? We get those certified numbers, you know, again, we've had through the years, it's been like this. We don't know if they're up or down. We don't want to raise the tax rate. So let's put down 20 for Goldblake and then we'll look at it here after these numbers come in, okay? So we can do it. Any other questions, comments? Well, appreciate y'all coming. I know y'all got better things to do. Listen to all this budget stuff here. But let's do that. And Kevin now, I'll call you next day or two. We'll have those numbers, okay? All right. Moving on, tax assessor collector's office. Ms. Lori King. Hello again, Ms. Lori. Come to the microphone. Ms. Lori, we've talked before, and I'll let the group know that if this in the budget, possibly we're going to try to get you another employee. I know you've been asking for a new employee for about 2 years or so now, and y'all's volume has definitely increased over the last 2 or 3 years.
Yeah, we're projected, to be, 10% over 2023,
How much, what percent?
10%. We became a willing county. I won't go into all that. We've become a willing county. That means that we can register and do title transactions for anybody anywhere in the state of Texas. We were requested by Open Road Lending to process their titles for liens, transfers, to have one location. We agreed to do that because it brings funds to the county. Of course, we do all the manufacturing buybacks for the state of Texas. We also are processing for telephone co-op in Dale City. The young lady who is one of their financial people called and had a question because they were having trouble. And I researched it and gave her the information, and their bosses said, can we run our renewals? Can we run our titles? Can we do this through your office? Yes. But the county's run,
Sure.
and there's just been an increase. We've been number one in the state per capita for several years running.
Yeah.
Per transactions, so.
Y'all done a good job.
Yeah, and there's a lot more, so, there's also voter registration, which is, the new team system isn't very user friendly. It's a lot more rules, a lot more regulations, and a lot more laws being passed as far as elections, and when the voter registration office has to be open, they have to be open during voting. As long as the polls are open, we have to be open. Meetings, webinars, trainings and stuff like that. We've increased.
Commissioners, any questions, for Ms. King?
So, just going through your budget, if you were to get a new employee, and that does happen, you didn't really change any of your postage, equipment, office supplies, all that. Do you not expect, you don't need new desk or anything like that, if that's gonna change, or are all those numbers gonna change?
We have equipment, or we have a desk in the back. I think that we can make do with like supplies, that way we wouldn't need a new desk. Because we have one available that we can use.
Okay, let's say not this year, but let's say next year, are you gonna need that stuff for next year, or even would a part-time employee help out? If we
Anything
did
would
that,
be a blessing. Not gonna lie, it would be great to have a full-time one, because that way we could be open Monday through Friday, 8 to 5. We'd have no problems if, Brittany wanted to take off, because Brittany's amazing. She does a great job. And, she's always there, but, we come up on the weekends, we come up after hours, we don't care. We go to the curb because we're on the 3rd floor, people don't like the elevator, or they can't take the elevator, they can't get to the elevator. We do whatever it takes, but anything would be a blessing, but I don't anticipate additional costs. I mean, because
well, you're saying, the other thing is you said, the team system and the election system is so much more work, but yet you went down on your voters registration expense, so.
because I'm not counting any of those hours. I'm talking, that's straight supplies.
Okay,
Supplies or postage, postcards. This is our off year for mailing out things as far as voter registration goes. And so when we don't have the every 2-year mail out, costs are low.
okay.
And I didn't see the point in leaving it there. We're not gonna use it. So I try to maintain, I try to keep it, but an additional employee would make a lot of difference. Because I will stay home and have a conference call. I will, so that I don't get interrupted during a meeting or whatever, the webinar.
Right.
So Judge, are we adding that at this moment or no?
I would say we need to add it. See if it's there.
Okay, so what? Are you gonna do it at the regular salary rate? Hourly rate, or are you gonna do part-time, or are you gonna do full-time, or?
Well, we're gonna try to do full-time, right, Miss Lori, and we talked about this too, if it's not there, possibly even part-time.
Correct.
So if they do full-time at hourly rate.
Yes.
Pardon?
You do full-time or part-time, that counts as a whole person to our full numbers. I can see y'all looking at bypass that.
Well, I'm just trying to get you so you'll have that to put on your paperwork.
So anything you do, we're at 48 employees now, that's gonna send you into FMLA.
That's-
And I don't know how many people have looked at the FMLA. I personally do not like it at all. Personally or professionally, and I know what it entails. I'm-
That's not. That's not true. There's no fault.
No,
No.
and I'm not familiar with it, so I'm not, yeah, but I am gonna say that statute requires the office to have a tax assessment, which is now, for, it has been.
Mhm.
An elected position and a deputy, a statute. So anybody else would come in as a clerk. So it wouldn't be what Brittany's making, it would be less than. Because Brittany is the deputy, so if something were to happen to me, Brittany would be the one to step in and take over. Her statute,
Yeah.
so.
Well, and that's why I think it's important if we can, because, and we hope y'all are always very helpful. If something happens when you're
Yeah,
sick
no,
or
no.
something, you're down to one employee with a whole lot of responsibility.
And,
It'd be nice to have someone else that knows how to do everything.
and I'm not complaining, I'm just informing.
Yeah, I know.
When I am out, my phone rings. I had surgery on my elbow 4 weeks ago.
Yeah.
And I was on the phone very next morning, and I was in the office the day after that, and, I don't mind. Because I love my job, and I live in the county, so it doesn't bother me, but I'm just saying, it's a lot. So, and it's a lot for one person.
Sure, sure, I've been out there quite a bit.
So
Yeah.
Judge, that current deputy's tax assessor collector is $20.35 per hour. Do you want it at the same price or do you want it to go, she's saying that it's not the same duties.
It is not, it would not be the same duties, nor would it be the same responsibilities.
Would be a little bit less than.
2035 is 2024, 25 numbers.
It should be
Correct.
more than that, yeah.
25, 26 is $20.96.
Yes.
So you're on the wrong year.
No, I was just looking at the current.
$96.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, you're right. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Gosh, I'm sorry.
I think, and this is me talking, do whatever, but I think 1650 top pay. For a third person. That's top pay. I'm not saying that's what they deserve. 15 top pay.
Sure.
So
Okay.
That's an limit.
it's
I
good. It's very,
I was thinking 18.
were you?
Yeah,
Okay.
so
I'm just
I don't
willing
know.
to-
Yeah, it may have to be more 8. I don't know if you can find anybody with 15.
I don't, yeah, people have trouble finding me.
Yeah.
So, and this has to be the right person.
I don't know how this may be something we need to. But that all of our employees are the same hourly level, but their hours be. If I'm in a part-time person, I have her making, say, she can make up to the same amount of people.
Clerk in the office.
if
But
you've
they
got
don't
somebody-
have to be getting that, just
No,
like
but
our
if
road.
she- But if she found somebody she would wanted to hire, but it's that payment, it may be worth to have it budgeted.
But when I interviewed, I had a lady tell me she wanted $25 an hour. And I said, I'm sorry, that's.
So do we.
Yeah, so do I, but no, so.
Well, then, I mean, we
But
can
she
just,
wouldn't have been the right fit. So, okay. We all would like to be.
you just put it at a flat 20 if you want, whatever you want to do, Judge.
18, whatever.
Whatever.
Are we gonna get in this trap that we did years ago where we set it at the salary right there, and then a couple years later, say, well, it's not equal to everybody else's, and so then we have to jump it
Well,
up.
I think what you're looking at though, is you're looking at, you have three distinct positions, right? You have the tax assessor, the deputy tax assessor, and a clerk. And what Summer's I'm hearing is that everybody's budgeted at the same. I don't know.
Everybody can, 29.6, but that doesn't mean everybody gets paid.
Paid that, yeah.
We're talking about position, not person.
So to me, a clerk. would
As
take
far as
less
the
than-
budget though, you would have to put it in at 2096, right?
Or whatever we tell them, yeah,
Or-
they could never go over.
Yeah,
Right.
whatever you tell me.
Any other questions?
The only thing I've thought about myself and don't either one of you ladies shoot me is possibly a full-time employee that could work part-time, 2 different offices
I'm open to anything.
to keep the FMLA from happening.
I'm open.
Yeah.
Anything would be. a
You talking about
blessing.
floating between her office and JP's office possible? I don't know if that'd be difficult. I think that'd be difficult to
He
do.
doesn't understand.
It would be, but I like the idea because that would make it easier to find somebody to work because they get a full day. You know, they'd be a full-time employee, they'd just be between 2
They
offices.
get the insurance and everything. else that
Exactly,
went
and
with it.
it would be probably a little easier. The only problem is, are we gonna agree on,
Yeah, that'd be
The first
time here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, so anyways.
So
okay,
the
not bad.
question that we need for Summer to fill out, is it part-time, is it full-time? How, what do you want to budget it, and what would that hourly rate be? So she can budget it.
And then I'm gonna let y'all have the discussion, I'm fine, but. Yeah. we're
Thank-
gonna-
Well, we'll try it full-time, see what the numbers show up
Okay.
tomorrow, do it full-time, and what pay amount? $18, $20, what?
$20.
$20.
Say 20, but you know, if we go a full-time employee and say, yeah, $20, but we can start her out at 18.
Yeah, they're not gonna start
Yeah.
out, because they're gonna have to
They're
consider,
gonna
that-
have to,
yeah.
Okay,
work and see how they're gonna do their
They're
job.
they're gonna have to exhibit some dedication to the county.
and again, Laura, you know, how it goes, this old county stuff, we don't know what the numbers are, I wish they'd been here.
Now,
Right,
I
any questions?
appreciate you
Well,
examining it.
we're trying to figure it out, we'll do what we can. Any other questions for Ms. King?
Nope.
Okay,
Thank
Lori,
you very much.
thank you for coming for these 2 different deals. Ms. Avance, I know you're kind of short-handed today. Let's cut over to the JP here real quick. I know you've had another busy day today, Ms. Avance. Good afternoon. Thank you for coming. Sorry, we're running a little late. I think I told you 1:30. We were only 30 minutes late here. Well, oh, we're all good. Everybody's busy, trying to figure this stuff out. So, you've also inquired about possibly, getting a new full-time person.
Yes.
That's in our stuff. And, if you'll explain to us about your workload, which is, I believe, has been increasing.
Yes, like everyone else, the workloads increased with more citations, more debt claims. And small claims, we're doing more and more occupational driver's license, which takes time and input. And admin hearings and reviews with the Texas Department of Public Safety. So, we phones are ringing off the wall, check him in today, just to get some notarized.
3 phone calls I was there for about 6 minutes, 7 minutes.
But we could use definitely kind of Lori reiterate, full or even part-time, I'll consider anything.
Okay.
So.
Questions, commissioners?
No,
Uh,
but I will ask this, if I'm probably gonna get thrown in the face. Do you think a full-time employee between 2 different?
The only thing I seen that is, I know years and years ago when Marilyn was the team was the JP, they tried to get her, when Lillian was the JP, to go back downstairs and do both. And she said it's kind of hard on the person to learn the 2 spots. They're both pretty busy, I'm real sure of that, but I mean, if somebody wants to do that, I feel like what if the days or the times, how would work that out, you know, some of us be out. But, we try it and see if I'm open to it, but at first I was like, oh no, that won't work, but if it's part-time, people want it full-time, and they're getting also the FMLA, whatever time, we don't have that, so. but when one person, my clerk had been out for about, what, five and a half weeks yet, surgery, and so with somebody else being there, the loads go back, and I used to be clerk, so thank goodness I needed to do it, where some JPs, they don't even know how to do any of the stuff, so it was a real, you know, it happens, life happens, we all know things happen, health wise, but we just, I'm gonna need some help, so if that should happen to me or my.
One question I had, Kim, I know we've talked about this before, is our inquest, we have to do autopsies, medical examiner. Didn't you tell me we may have found some of those cheaper? We
Yeah, there
budgeted,
is somebody should have brought it up
well, we
here.
budgeted 50,000, it was 41,000.
There's
No, it was 50. Did we say it? Yeah, is that 50 still good
We
enough?
left it 50, there's,
Yeah.
it's a little less, I just need to bring it, on the agenda, they don't have a local agreement or anything like that, but we went to Class Texas, something off up there in Elgin. The other ones we use are Travis County Medical, Center that we use out of, Austin. And, they take a long time to get the turnaround for the toxicology, for the autopsy report, and, that's a big thing for families and such, so this one, this other company said that they would get turned, they're brand new, the girl was out of Hamilton. But, I'll show it to you, I'll try to present it to the board, I'll, you know, something we can do, keep costs down. We can still use Travis County, but I know when COVID had hit, the group in, that we're using Tarrant County said no more, and Lockhart said no more, they were really less expensive than Lockhart.
Yeah.
So we just stayed with Travis.
Yeah, refresh my memory, what's the cost for like Travis County for an autopsy, 5,000 or?
4,200.
4,200. Okay. Okay, all right. Questions?
So if you had another hand, what would their significant job do to help lower your caseload?
I think help with at the counter, help with phone calls taken, so when somebody calls in, you have to get the whole room and driver safety deferred, and it's not like they just call a number due, but they pay for or we do the credit card over the phone, rather than mail it in the mill, it's been coming in with stacks of mill, it would just help a whole lot, really, between those two.
So I mean, I just took your report for the last year and just went through it, and you're basically gaining 18 new cases a month. It's on average,
You're talking about the-
pending cases for the month, due to the pending cases at the end of the month. And so, but the inactive cases keep growing at 13%.
Personal cases, a lot of those we've got it's called I3 Vertical, used to be our icon. And there are collection people, a lot of people move away or whatever, so we leave them open, somebody can shut them, but I'll keep them open and I'll write letters too, or we make phone calls, but somebody like that can help with their collection. Or like do extra, I'll do some letters and have moments and say, hey, or put warrants out, I haven't had time to put warrants, but somebody else could help, putting that to get on the collection.
So no warrants have been
I haven't
updated.
done it. Yeah, it's been a little while, we've been over some warrants, when people get the warrant, they'll get a warrant card in the mail from our I3 verticals, and they're like, are we going to jail? But if we actually do a warrant, and it gets in the system, they go, we don't want to go to jail, and they'll come pay, or they'll say, hey, can I sit out in jail? We've had a few phone calls like on that.
So have y'all done a roundup lately?
There was one in, February, March, we had them, and it does increase right around the time, February, March.
Okay.
They
The
get-
numbers don't show that there was, a big difference then, but. Okay.
Okay, any other questions? All right, well, Kim, appreciate you coming down. I know you need to get that, so thank you for coming.
Wonderful. Thank y'all. Appreciate it.
Well, thank you, Ms. Avance. Have a good day. All right,
So did we decide on whether we're adding full-time?
so full-time, Kim, full-time is what you're proposing again. Full-time, yes. The same page. Yeah, same $20 that's up on the tax assessor's office. Okay. All right, moving along. So County Treasurer, next in line, Ms. Campbell. Anything you need to tell us changing or new or?
Everything stays the same, except you'll see on my software that I moved that out of the technology line and moved it into my budget because the money I had allotted in the technology line has been spent, a portion of it has been spent, while I'm able to make that contract payment. We're starting our kickoff meeting next week and, after that, we'll start our conversion. Supposed to go live April 1st.
Okay,
It's about 6 months to do the conversion.
okay.
Other than that, everything's the same. I suspect if we add this many employees, Jackie and I will need to go do some training on FMLA and labor laws, and I don't know what that looks like
Okay.
at this time. And we may have to buy software. I don't know as far as this software goes, how it tracks FMLA in the payroll system. I haven't seen it yet. So that would be an additional cost. We may have to find somebody. There's HR software. And we're gonna hope to track FMLA. A lot of laws we can track. When they're using FMLA along with their leave. And so I think there's a lot of human error about that. I don't know what that means.
Okay.
My understanding, when we had it years ago, it's also the elected official's job to keep that record too.
Right.
So-
It'll initially start with you, but
Yeah.
ultimately it has to be.
Yeah, but the elected official is still liable for it. Cause it's their employees, the way I got it. Now, that's when Trina was here and we were doing it, so.
If we can do it that way, I would love that, but I
Yeah.
don't think. 'cause that
I
would-
still had to take everything to Trina's office and she had to turn it in or whatever, but
That would require training for everybody to have that formulation.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think probably when we used to do that, laws have changed significantly since then, so.
Okay, other questions?
So I want to go back to the FEMA supplement, since you get that. That uniform guidance is changing as October the 6th.
And I'm looking at that, I don't know that that applies to us because our money has already been obligated and moved over to the state of Texas and they are now.
But it's still the reporting, the audit side of it and all that.
You'll be reporting, taking $750,000 of federal funds. That's what the limit is right now. I'm trying to control that so we don't have to do a single line audit. So state of Texas, everything I run through them goes through their auditors. So when we were dealing with FEMA, we had to run it through their system and up their chain through their auditors, and that's how the money was obligated and moved over to the state of Texas. Now, when I submit anything for reimbursement, that has to go through their auditors, and they're seeing everything we do, and that's goes through. I think I learned this week, 14 steps before it's paid.
Okay.
But it has to go with those steps, and at any time they find something wrong, they send it back to step one and
Okay.
they start over.
Well, that was the biggest thing that I was worried about is that uniform compliance changes so much and the guidance and all that from the 2-hour video that I was in with TAC. It was scary
So if you'll
for
remember
small
last
counties.
year, we had Ryan Folsey as a FEMA grant. I can't remember what this title was, but he told us in October or November that FEMA had already obligated the FEMA funds and moved it over to the state of Texas to hold. So they were now responsible for the funds. The money had been obligated. It's there. And now it's up to them.
Okay, so what's that imply? Like if we get another federal grant from the Sheriff's Department or whatever?
So there are 2 small grants that David has done. We just talked about the other one the other day at 65,000, I believe, and the other one was 16. So that has to be included in the 750.
Okay, but it's all the total. It's not per.
Correct.
Okay.
So for the fiscal year.
Okay.
Unless they change that 750. I'm not really worried about it. In fact, on these 2 grants, I would rather do the pre-work and figure out if we're doing things correctly. We're spending it that way than do it in the middle where we have already spent.
Okay.
money and they cannot You know, we use the funds that way.
That's just what I want to make sure of that, and,
I think for my office, it all sounds great.
okay, okay. I mean, there was so much information in that video, it was like, oh my gosh.
I think it's great, actually. It'll cut down on fraud.
Okay, any questions?
And you are putting in a new computer system?
Yeah,
or
this year.
Software system.
Yes, we're gonna have a party next. Party.
Oh, that's exciting. We weren't invited.
I wasn't
And
invited.
don't forget about your AI stuff too.
She would talk about it, it's on Teams, so.
Yeah.
Well, I'll know more about when we're gonna actually start. I told them we're in budget season. And I have into fiscal year, so we can talk about those dates. So I
Did your old guy that you used, then you have a person that you used, did he retire?
No.
No,
No, he's waiting on me and a couple other traders to be off the system so he can,
okay.
And don't-
but he will be a great asset and for me. from the summer.
Can't wait for this
AI
thing
for
to come.
Artificial insemination.
Artificial insemination, yeah.
Okay, anything else for the treasurer?
Well, the only thing that I'm concerned about is if we do go HR, we might, that's another training that she's got to go to. She's already upped that training a little bit. We need to be prepared that the training could be a little bit overwhelming. So with just her in the office. So, and she may have to take Jackie to these trainings too.
Which is already HR.
I am HR.
Yeah, but if you go FMLA,
Yeah, there will have to be training, and there may have to be some sort of software. I don't.
and so the software you got right now is only to cover for the new system, correct? It's not any extras.
Right now, I don't know what we'll have to pay to keep the old during the conversion, so I'll get the whole price, which is less than 4,000 plus the news.
Okay,
I'm guessing they'll probably prorate the old input. They're under one umbrella. The same company owns both of them.
All right,
okay. So I guess we just leave it the same then unless she's
okay.
wants something else.
I may have missed something on the JP's deal, on the back, it had three verticals.
It didn't
So that
change that
So
much.
it's all good there on
So that's her,
updated amount said July
oh,
13th.
that's her computer software. so-
Yeah.
Yeah, it didn't change that much, so it's all come out.
So it's not gonna be under the general fund, we're gonna pay for it out of her special. use
Okay.
fund. We can let that rest for
Okay.
the past years, and we are able to pay for it out of her special. use.
Okay. Okay. Any other questions, commissioners? Moving on, county and district clerk, Ms. Scott, good afternoon. Are you getting all these notes and everything?
Of course.
Go ahead, and tell us what you'd like to have.
Well, we're keeping most things the same. We are upping our schools and training. There's some additional requirements that we're having to meet. If you talk about vital statistics, there's a parenting class that we have to do. I think I went over a lot of these with Jed. I don't know, what questions you have. I don't want to drone on and on. If you have any specific questions, I am asking for a stipend for elections for myself and for the clerks. The culture around elections right now is intense and taking a lot more time. As far as what you signed up for when you got here, mantra, it's not the same. When we signed up, we weren't working 20 days straight. We worked Saturdays and Sundays. We had 12-hour days. None of this was in place. The laws that have changed, laws that even haven't been implemented yet, because we're trying to figure out how they can implement these with smaller counties. The fact that we are having to have 4 people at a polling location instead of 3. The security assessment that we had done in 2019 will happen again. They just announced that last week, I believe. So there's a security plan we have to have written. I've talked to David Shaw about it. They're about 86 pages each. They're emergency plans for elections and can you keep the ball rolling, basically. the time that we are spending here after hours on weekends, the setup, it doesn't just start when early voting starts. We start elections 6 weeks to 8 weeks before voting ever happens. There's ordering the ballots, proofing the ballots, organize the training material. The state is mandating how much training we have to provide for our election. So it's a lot more intense than what it was before I took office, and when I took office.
Okay.
We have a great team. We can do it. Go for it, Dale. Let's hear it.
Well, and we are, you've probably heard proposing to 3% or 4% pay increase this year, just to try to help everybody out. Because everybody is busier, no doubt.
And that's not just it. A couple of years ago, I believe it was in 25 and 26. The road hands received a higher percentage increase than the people in the courthouse. 2 years before that, in 24 to 25, the law enforcement center received a higher increase in their cost of living than the people in the courthouse. And in 24 and in 25, you set aside overtime for road hands so that you could get some extra work done, but not 1 cent of that was used. Because you said your workers didn't want it. My workers want it. Because when they take comp time, it puts my office behind.
Right. So, but let me interrupt a little bit. So, but you're asking for a stipend, not, okay, that's what I want to clarify. Overtime and stipend is two different things. A stipend goes away. It's just a here and gone, you know. Senate Bill 22 is a supplement or a stipend. And that grant could go away tomorrow and all that would be away. So I'm worried about the wording there, that it doesn't need to be supplement. And from reading this, I did look at, I took it and went and looked at McCullough County. McCullough County, and this is, I just did this last night because I didn't really have a lot of time. I was busy this weekend. But what they did interesting is they did a whole election page. So where you have on your election line item, you have $40,000, $50,000. They break that 50 up and where it goes.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying?
Yes.
And so they have an overtime line where you pay that.
Okay.
And it comes out of that fee, and then the court would be able to track what you're doing. Right now, it's just up to you.
Right.
And you don't have the overtime issue,
But that's
I don't know.
that's for hourly employees. An elected person's not an hourly employee.
she wouldn't get it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yes, she wouldn't get it. If you go with that, that's just the employees.
I will also tell you that from the middle of January until March 3rd, I worked 98 hours over, which I know is part of the job, and I know we all work over. But it is 4 times a year in a presidential or a midterm year.
Yeah.
It is serious overtime.
This next year, this coming budget, there will only be one major election, right? What's the other one?
There'll be one in May,
Okay, what will it consist of?
constitutional amendments.
Okay,
So the legislation is meeting, starting in January, whatever they want to put out after that, and they also have the right to call a special election in July.
Yeah.
So possibly 3.
And Abbott's already looking at the special election already. It's what he posted yesterday from the flooding.
So it's not just one election.
Yeah.
And whether you do one election or you do 5 elections, you're still gonna proof your ballots, you're still gonna have to train your workers, you still have to report on everything.
but I'm saying the time frame, not what you gotta do for each election. The time frame is gonna vary from year to year.
Possibly by 1 to 2, but we could have had a runoff, an additional special election this year that we didn't have.
Yeah.
There are other districts that had other runoffs this year that we didn't have to have.
But your
So
presidential year is gonna be your bigger year, right?
mainly because of your turnout.
Yeah.
Okay, mainly because of your turnout. Presidents and midterms, so on your even numbered years are still your big years. Because you're gonna have a primary, and then you're gonna have a primary runoff.
Yeah.
So
But we've always had that.
You don't always have to have a primary runoff. If things were really great, I guess you wouldn't have to. We didn't have any locals.
I know, but it's always been there.
Yes. It has
That
been
hadn't
there,
changed.
But the laws that change on what we have to do for those have changed.
It's because of the election places having to stay open on weekends.
And the amount of reporting we have to do. Starting in November, we will be doing a risk limiting audit after every election. It has to be started within so many hours of the time you close your polls, and this doesn't even touch your hand count audit. We do a partial manual hand count after every election, while we are still keeping our office open and going to court. So it's not that it's just over. We aren't through with an election until about 4 weeks after the date that you close the polls, because of the reporting that you do back to the state. The risk limiting audit is new. They've been testing it out in a couple of counties. Every county, all 254 counties will start it this November.
So you could easily say, Judge, on this, if you wanted to, that you could give the clerk a supplement, because you can have, a county can have an election officer. And since we don't have an election officer, you could give her a supplement until that position is created from Brown County Commissioner.
What about her employees?
But her employees,
Gonna be a separate deal.
yeah, that's where the word supplement comes in. That's tricky. And I hear what you're saying. Comp time is so hard. I think the sheriff's department has a problem trying to get people to use their time off and take their time. And you need them to work, and you don't need them taken off, and that's what their comp time does.
Right.
And so,
And comp time is a liability of the county, so you don't want someone carrying 200 hours of comp time. You don't want someone carrying that amount of comp time. We need them to be using it, plus you're gonna burn out your people, and just like what you're talking about, how you can't hire someone for $15 an hour to come do this. The training and the certification that is required for the positions that we hold, we're your vital statistics registrar, we have to be AOP certified, which is a fraternity that you have to get for birth certificates, and we have to be certified. You have to take a class, you have to take a test. All of us have to be certified in this because we are the local registrar for our county. So elections, you're gonna have your background check. You're gonna have to understand how to do this, because we sign off on the elections at the end of this. And there's things that happen in elections that are felonies.
And my name's on the bottom of that line, so I want my people trained, because I don't want the sheriff to come see me.
so would it be different if you hired would it be different if you had another employee instead of? So you're showing us all this overtime.
Mhm.
Would another employee make a difference?
Cause your polls are open from 7 to 7.
We don't work from 7 to 7. The polls may be open from 7 to 7, but we have election workers over there. I have an election judge. While the polls are open, is actually a little bit calmer for us, except for the disruptions and the problems we have in a polling location.
So they get paid out of this 40,000 going to 50,000, right?
The election judges and clerks that are at the polling locations do, yes. Dudley Jordan, who is our central count manager, he gets paid out of that. So all of your supplies that you order out there, your ballot stock that you're ordering out of there. If we have to have machines repaired.
But what does Dudley get paid for, say, a presidential election?
Well, in a primary, he'll divide it up and he'll divide his bill between half between Republicans and Democrats. I want to say it's 26. 18 and 18, sorry, 36. We can't do without that.
I know, he's
Who-
does a great job. I'm just asking.
Now, who pays him then?
Well, some of the things on the primary, we can get asked for reimbursement. So we can ask for Dudley for reimbursement. But on a presidential election, I can.
But you said half Democrat and half Republican
So.
through
but
their
he sends
parties.
me- Yes, he sends me the bill by party, because these are actually two separate elections. They just have to be happening at the same time.
Okay.
But I have to certify the returns and do the work per election.
But state Republican
They'll reimburse
Committee
you for part of it.
reimburse.
They don't reimburse you for anything that has to do with early voting, but they will reimburse your workers for, they don't reimburse anything that goes in the paper. They don't reimburse any of your training. They will only reimburse for election day, and they'll pay for your ballots and your programming of your ballots. But all the
But-
other elections, we still, Mills County is on the hook for that.
Going back to one of your deals with, the money being put in overtime for the road hands, that was not appropriately done. That was the reason it did not work.
Well, I'd like to try it appropriately done.
I don't have a problem with you doing that
Okay.
at all. But I'm saying unless it goes, well, I'm sure they will. I'm sure my guys would.
I know,
But I know when you bought that up all ago, when it was tried before, you had to designate the project you were working on, how many hours you were gonna work, and the reason it came up was just the fact of trying to get some more work accomplished. That was before FEMA,
I was limited to elections,
and, you know,
period. The project is elections.
Nobody wanted to work overtime, that was the problem.
nobody wanted to
They
work.
could go make.
nobody wanted to work on a Saturday.
What,
That was what it was. Nobody wanted to work on a Saturday.
nobody don't work
Yeah,
anyways, but.
well,
Okay, other questions on this? So are we go the terminology, what needs to be called or what?
It can't be a stipend for an elected official because the stipend goes away. Basically, what you're wanting is
No.
a raise.
but you could do a stipend for the clerk. You can't for the employee.
You could do a stipend for the clerk.
If you just say an
If it's an
election
elect-
stipend, it's
well,
just
if
like
you-
FEMA.
If you post it separately,
Because if we get to the point, there's counties that are our size. There are counties that are our size that already have an elections administrator. When you look at the salary survey that was just put out by TAP, and it looks like we're kind of middle of the road on the clerk on like a base pay.
It doesn't take into effect how many of those clerks have an EA. Because that's not something they report on. They only report on elected officials. So when you go look at this salary survey and go, oh, well, we're in range, you're not looking on whether or not that county has an elections administrator back in that clerk.
You can say the same thing on the commissioner side of it too. You don't, I mean, that survey report is just, you can throw out the window, because it's just figures. It's not work.
Right. So as the sheriff has said numerous times in commissioner's court, they have increased their citations, their stops, their arrests. All of those that are class B and above come through my office. The appeals that come from the JP's office that someone doesn't like, the fact that they are gonna lose their CDL, that appeal comes to my office.
Okay, so,
Appeals in general, just from court, from district court, we have doubled our appeals in 2 years. And appeals take time. The way you report to a third court of appeals, there are sometimes I will send the stuff on with Joy and say, I'll see you in a week because it's so tedious to get it done.
Well, let's just talk about the terminology of supplement or stipend. That doesn't mean that it goes away. All have decided that if SB 22 money goes away, those supplements go away, but in broader terms, counties do pay supplements and they don't go away.
okay,
It's part of the compensation package.
but it's gotta be put in there before she's given what her salary is gonna be, so it can be posted in the newspaper. That's what I'm trying to go at. That's all I'm trying to say. If we're gonna put it in there before the judge sends us a letter,
Supplements go away, but that's not technically what
Okay.
supplement means. That's just what y'all determine SB 22 means. And those are paid by supplements.
still, you're telling me all this extra work and all that, and you've got all this, how much comp time have you created? A bunch in all three of your employees?
I don't have the numbers I can give
Okay,
them.
that's
I
fine.
also tried to really limit my employees' comp time on this last one. because
Trying to get it used at the end of the year, yeah.
it's really hard to get it used at the end of the year.
So what,
Plus, we're burning people.
yeah, would another employee help? I mean, the sheriffs have that same problem with burnouts and stuff like that. Would another person help that? Or are you saying you would rather have the increase in,
What I'm saying is, I
funds.
think that eventually this county is gonna have to hire an EA. So if you wanna give me another person and we'll train them as a clerk and then move somebody into EA, that's fine. If you wanna pay less, you know, for the extra work now, because it is more intense, the problem with another person is we only have 4 elections on even numbered years.
yeah, that's what Dale's saying. That's what Dale's saying, yeah.
So I need someone for 3 to 4 months, and then I've got about a 6-week to 2-month break, and then I need that person again. But I can't pick somebody off the street and say, okay, here we're gonna go, let's do elections. I need someone that is trained and knowledgeable. That's why I'm saying,
Well, I feel like I'm asking all the questions. What do you guys think?
Well, I'm just trying to figure out what's, we need to call it supplements, what we're saying for hers, correct? And,
I'm thinking we need to call it,
yeah,
Okay,
not a stop.
okay.
and if we roll into the position where we're gonna have to move someone into elections and our county gets to the point where the state mandates it, right now it's not mandated that we have to have an elections administrator.
Not yet.
Not yet,
Not
but if
yet.
the state mandates it, take us up on the way, give it to the elections administrator.
Are y'all good with all that? Everything good?
I'm not. No. Absolutely not.
Can I just speak up so the people at home can hear you?
I am not.
Thank you.
Mainly because, if we talk about our job descriptions, we are elected officials. And we know what the job was paying when we ran for that position. And I can tell you right now, mine could not increase very much more before it's at breaking point.
What can
What I'm-
increase?
My duties.
Oh. Amen on that.
So I kind of figure if I can go through it, so can every other elected official. That's just where I'm at.
I've just seen y'all give other elected officials help with their job needs, right?
I hadn't seen that personally.
Did you give the judge and the sheriff's department an emergency management coordinator?
Yeah, but he's saying him personally hasn't gotten it. So, yeah.
Oh, well, that's exactly right. Because I was elected by the people of Mills County.
Okay, well, on that sort, the judge was elected to be the emergency management coordinator or director, and the sheriff was elected to be the emergency management director. And then when they took office, they said, no, we're not gonna do it. And so we hired David Shaw. So,
Well, I didn't have time. I didn't know all the duties you have to do on that.
okay.
And I saw shortly, well, I'm not slamming on that, but I didn't know that, and David's done a great job.
And this is not against David. At all. This is an example. They'll say when we were hired knowing the role we were hired into.
Yeah.
So I was hired into the role of elections as part of the county clerk. And the elections role has changed so greatly that it is at a breaking point.
Yeah.
So if I hire another person, I've got projects, I'll set them up on something. If you don't wanna play a supplementary salary, that's fine. Give me another person at 2096 or whatever you decide, and I'll run with it. But be consistent and be transparent.
I think I am being. I don't know how I can be any more transparent. I think we're all up against a tough law.
I think we are. I think that we are mandated by the state to do a lot of things. And I think there's only so many hours in the day, and we're all doing the best we can.
That's exactly right.
If you had to pick a figure on overtime amount, do you have a figure in mind?
You mean per clerk? Like how much for per
Yeah, I
year?
mean, is it 10 hours?
Well, if you work a Saturday and a Sunday and you're here at least 14 hours a day, I try not to make people work 14-hour days. So you're looking at splitting that between two people, so you're looking at, and now on Sundays, we're gonna work 9 hours a day on Sunday, and we're gonna work 14 hours a day, so actually that's gonna be 11 and 14, so it's 25 hours for a weekend. And that's gonna be 2 to 3 clerks, so 75 hours overtime per weekend that we work for an election. And that doesn't count the evening time, so polls close at 7, that's 2, times 10, there's another 10. That's 85 hours, we're mandated to have 2 people there, so now we're up to 170 hours per election.
Per person, per election.
Person. So,
Say that again, 100 and what?
well, you had 170,
You got three employees?
yes. The state mandates you have a 2-man rule with your ballots, so if there's one, you can't just have one person here. I have to have 2 people here.
What's that overtime? Hey, what they make 20, what'd you say?
296 is the top pay. So 3048.
Plus your FL, I mean, your FICA and all that other stuff, yeah, you might be at 20,000, but it's a little less than that, but yeah.
That's just what it is in the hourly rate, right?
So
No, that's overtime rate.
overtime is time and a half, right?
Yeah, I did overtime, time and a
Okay,
half.
so that's 30,
It's 31
31, 31 times something else.
times 510. 170 was, she said 170 times 3 is 510. So you're looking at roughly $20,000 extra in overtime pay. Is what you'd have to budget.
And that's just for one election.
That's for one election.
So if we have 2 elections in a year.
Yeah.
You double it.
It's 40.
I will say on a runoff, you only have 1 week, not 2. So a runoff would be a little bit less.
So,
40 is still cheaper than none.
yeah, that's, yeah. But you're still gonna have overtime. If you're talking
Yeah, what?
170 hours per person overtime, and you're not, that one person can't do that much, so you're gonna still have overtime. Are there gonna be comp time or whatever
Something.
whatever that is going to be? Which brings me back to, so you're asking, you only have 50,000 in it, that expense. So that right there doesn't include the comp time.
That just includes the things that happen with your,
Okay,
and the main expense there is going to be your payroll. Your election worker payroll, the people that are actually at the polling locations. Because we are now mandated to have 4 people there, and when you are there for 14 hours, by the time the judge gets there to open the polls, you have to have the polls ready to roll by 7 o'clock. So you gotta get there early, you gotta get your ballots out, you gotta start your machines, run your zero takes, check all of your security measures. By the time you have 4 people, or even 2 people arrive an hour early, 2 people arrive 30 minutes early, they can't work 14-hour days, I have to have another shift come in. So the payroll expense for elections is insane.
well, I understand that. I'm just trying to figure out, so you're actually spending more than what you're. Because you don't have your current. comp time for elections in that.
No, on time doesn't show up from the budget. It's paid out at their salary line.
Right.
So, as of now.
But we-
As of last year, January, comp time does hold a value. When you're doing your audit, they put a value. to it.
Correct, that's all that this last,
Useful life.
I was just trying to figure out what that liability is, because that could be paid out and you know exactly what it is what I'm trying to figure out
Well, as soon as they're.
of what you spent, you know,
I try to get everybody a break because you're just wiped out.
yeah. I saw Jenna Eddington and she walked out the courthouse and she goes like, yeah, I volunteered to help. Then she goes, do you know how much training I gotta have? I'm about ready to back out of this. And so.
Okay, let's
It was
keep
funny.
this, keep this rolling here. Let's figure what we're gonna do here, okay?
29 takes seven.
Okay. She said the 2096 doesn't include the raise. I was going by what the current.
Yeah.
I don't know the McCullough, example that you gave, what type of an accounting nightmare that is.
So that's creating a whole nother,
It's basically everything you said, but they've got it, you know, with a line item number. The only difference is it's the social security tax, retirement, and overtime. And that was just put in last year. That's a new thing, new line item that they put in there. It's not, it's been a zero type thing, so. But they spent, including that was 50,000. And so that's what you're asking for is 50,000. But they're on overtime, all they're asking for overtime is $4,500. You're asking for,
that 50,000 is election workers only.
Correct.
That's not election supplies. It doesn't have anything to do with current employees.
right,
That is to pay the clerk's employees.
well,
You know, yeah.
not considering, not considering the commissioner I talked to, she said that any overtime that the clerk could take it out of this for her employees that got
That's what
overtime.
That's for.
Yeah,
But what Sonia has here in her budget, election expense does not touch anything.
Right,
about her.
right, yes.
It's just payroll for election.
That's what I was, yeah, that's what I was getting at a while ago.
So we may be confused on what's an election worth. You know, what people want, until about the county.
All right. What we want to do, folks? Did the supplement?
I'll say a supplement.
And again, I'm sure I got this right. The supplement will be 5,000 to the clerk, then 2, 2, and 2. How are we gonna do that? Can that be a supplement to the employees?
Right, but we put out the same line, you just have to publish hers with elected official salary.
Okay.
With a 4% raise, which also makes about $2,000 a year,
Plus, insurance.
plus $1,086 for insurance. That's $5,000 per employee.
But you gave your road hands, if we've already said you gave courthouse people last year.
By a very small amount. It's 2096 to 22. $1 an hour.
So what you're saying is our employees here in the courthouse are not worth the additional.
What I'm saying is our guys needed the extra money to try to keep people here.
That's what.
If that's what y'all are saying,
Yes, that's what we're saying.
I don't think they'll understand the amount of reporting that we do to the state in both, in all of our offices. I don't think you have any idea the responsibility in which what we carry each day.
I don't think we can control that. That's not being assessed by us.
But you could acknowledge and support the time it takes and the skill and all that. You can acknowledge it.
I think we do pretty well. I think we do very well.
We,
Larry, and it-
well,
so people can hear, the employees can hear During the courthouse, that they're only worth between 26.
And I hear what you're saying. I hear both what you're saying. I think last year we were having very hard time of finding workers to work that have to be put in some dangerous positions that like, just like the sheriff's department, that's why they even get more than what we get. We're having to drive 80,000 loads across, you know, the roads and do that and do other jobs too that is outside.
We work in our office and we are getting over $10 million, the danger and the risk to that.
But I understand that, but
There's.
your life is not in danger. Well, I'm not being ugly, but I mean, we had a blowout the other day and cars go in front of you and across the road and everything else. I mean, it's scary out there I just want to make sure that, you know, that we're supported there. I'm not cutting y'all down. Don't give me the rolling eyes because you're not on the screen.
I didn't realize, I looked at her.
Y'all were rolling your eyes at each other, but I'm just saying, I'm not trying to do that. I'm not doing that. I'm trying to support both your offices. If we're not doing that, I mean, I don't know what's going on. I mean, we're up here talking about it.
And I appreciate the conversation, and I'm not trying to be negative towards any of I'm trying to be transparent and let's be fair. Okay, yes, I do understand there's hazard pay. Do you want to do hazard pay for the clerks when we're sitting in our office and someone comes in and yells at us? And we've got people coming in going, you all right in here? Are you gonna do hazard pay for that? Are you gonna do hazard pay when the person that's off their meds comes in and wants to know why they're being treated this way? And now why is stuff so unfair? And I actually get them out in the hallway, but people come out in the hallway and say, are you okay? Do you need me to call someone? Everything comes with a risk, whether you're driving to and from work, hauling a load, law enforcement. I'm saying there's risk everywhere. And I'm saying we all signed up to be here. And I think that everyone takes pride in their job.
And I think that's what Dale's saying too. You signed up for that amount of pay. And for that risk.
For a job that has changed.
Okay, and that's what we're discussing now is the job that has changed and the benefits. Okay. Judge, it's your call. But I think the elections need some help. I mean, you can't not look at the figures and not see that. And you can't look at we cannot look at the time that they're spending and all that and not helping them out on that. So now where you want to do it?
Would that be a new line item for the supplement?
I
I mean, how,
Yes, I would.
gonna have to do, yeah, supplement. Do you have to do 2 line item supplements? One for the clerk, or you can put them on the same one? Yeah.
That's fine.
Commissioner Moore, I know how you feel, Mr. Williams and Mr. Sullivan.
But you have given everybody in front of them what they've wished for. So, I mean, if you're gonna go with this, I mean, you go ahead and, I mean, you haven't, it's the only one that we've not given is the Gold Lake Fire Department. And so, if you're gonna be equal and fair about that, then you're gonna have to,
Right.
Okay, how's that gonna be fair to our employees?
well, we hadn't got to our employees yet, so.
Not yet.
We hadn't got the sheriff's department yet, and
Yeah.
they're about to fall asleep back.
I'm ready to move on. We spend enough time. I will go with this in the supplement, okay, put in there. We gotta move on.
Okay, well, what figures so that Summer knows?
5,000 of what was proposed there for the clerk and 2, 2, and 2.
So $11,000 supplemental pay.
Where am I seeing that supplement?
You had some calculations on that. You have your funeral calculations from down.
Oh, yeah, I do have it on my computer, yes. Okay, yeah. That's where he's talking about. Okay. I was like, it's not on today's thing.
All right. County and district technology expense. I have on some kind of notes, 1,800 set for next year, set for 1 year if possible. That's not my writing. I don't know what that is. If there's anything we need
Which
to,
one is it called?
it's behind the county and district clerk page.
400.
I don't even have that figure.
So I think you're talking about a special use fund.
Court technology fund, district technology expense.
But that's a special use,
Okay.
that's no funeral.
Okay,
Fund 41, 42, 43,
Okay.
44.
So I can quickly address this, I think. So last year, we had actually set aside, I think, $30,000 to scan our historical records. With the amount of time that elections took, I did not feel that I could manage that the way it needed to be managed and devote the time to it that I needed to devote. So I have bids waiting. I would like to do that in a legislative year because we do have one fewer elections and there's fewer changes in an odd year. So I actually have quotes ready to go and we have the funds set aside in special use so that our historical documents, at least our land records, will be digitized and preserved.
How is that going?
How's that going?
Yeah, from since we started it.
We didn't ever start it. We set the money aside last year in the budget and the time commitment with elections was too much. So I'd like to move it to an odd year because elections is a little bit less. We don't have anything new.
Which
because
would be this coming year.
Yes.
Okay.
So I've got the bids ready. As soon as the budget's passed, I would like to get it started. I have a couple of companies. I'd be bringing a contract through Commissioner's Court for you to approve. We are looking at companies that would scan the books in-house. So they wouldn't, a lot of the companies want to take the books off-site to scan them. And we've decided we're just not comfortable with that. We want the books to stay here. Even if it costs a little bit more, we want the books to stay on site.
I agree.
But this also will get them digitized and cloud-based, so God forbid anything happens, we'll have our records.
Okay. Right, anything else on that? What was that? Was that the record archives you just did, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, okay, and back page, that's first record management expense, 15,000.
All of those go together.
All go together.
That-
Okay. All those together. Okay,
I say we do the sheriff's department next.
yeah, let's do the sheriff's department next. Sheriff's department, I know y'all. Sheriff is still there? You're not asleep yet. Well, Sheriff, come on up to the podium so we can all hear you. We've only been here 2 hours, but we're gonna roll through this.
Well, when you told me we were doing everybody, I was like, oh my God.
Well, we gotta get these, well, let me stop right there. We gotta get this, which I was gonna read afterwards. We gotta get elected official salaries posted for the paper Monday. So we got a lot of work to do this week. To get out of the paper for all this clock management we gotta do. Sheriff, go ahead, sir.
My position's not changed since we had the workshop. I still have the 10% pay raise in there for all the employees. It is amazing to me as I sit in here and listen to how hard we work our county employees, and that's across the board. And as much as we argue over the amount of money that we try to pay them, and I'll tell you, one of the things that astounds me a little bit is we've had a ad in paper for 4 weeks now, was it?
Yeah.
For a jailer, and we have had not one applicant for that position, not one. That's a $19 an hour job, and nobody wants
With
to
insurance,
with insurance and not one application. So when we're talking about what we pay our county employees, at some point or another, we're going to have to reevaluate all of that. It's one of those kinds of things. I look at it this way: we cannot maintain the vehicle for a while. We've not put tires on it, we've not changed oil, we've not do any of those things, and that works for a little bit, but when it doesn't work anymore, it really doesn't work anymore. So my position is still the same there. I've looked at that, and one of the differences between the sheriff's office and some of the other departments is we can generate those funds. We have shown that we can generate those funds. If you remember, we talked about the number of citations that have been generated in the past. One of the other places that we can generate those funds is in the jail. That was one of the conversations that I had with my jail administrator the other day in occupancy. We have not kept that as high as it can be. So I think that we can generate, I know that we can generate another $100,000 a year there in those revenues. So when I say a 10% pay raise for those employees, that is all funds that we can generate out of the LEC. I'm not asking for that out of the tax base. All of that can be generated. When we look at the rest of that budget, I am well within the parameters of what we were at last year. The only thing that is additional on there is the 2 vehicles that we talked about last year. And other than that, we're very close to what it was. We've been very conservative with the entire budget. You see it there in front of you. If you have any questions, I'm glad to answer.
Don't wait till you finish.
Do we want to line by line it?
Sure, we've gone through all these numbers before.
Yes, we have.
We've gone through everything. I mean, I don't, tell us what you need to know. And we're, again, I'll get with my speech right now. Y'all do a great job. Everybody. And I wish we could do 10%. As you can hear, it's gotta be 10% for everybody. And there's no way with the tax base we got that we could do a 10% employee for all the employees in the county. I mean, without raising the tax rate. And that's the limited amount we can raise it. And you know what, hell, us 5 would catch on that. So anyway, and it's not that we don't love you, you'll do a great job.
I'm familiar with all of those things. And then the only thing that I'll say in rebuttal to that is the same thing that we've heard all afternoon, right? That there are a lot of things that each one of these county departments, including the sheriff's office and LEC, is up against in mandated requirements. And we've gone through those things as well. HB 33 was very clear about what we're required to do in reference to school security. SB 8 is very clear of what we're going to do with immigration and things of that nature. So that's the things that I will point out. I'm not going to get into confrontation with you about.
Oh, we're not ever
What we
having.
do with tax revenues and things of that nature. The only thing I can do is stand before you and tell you what I think it's going to take there to keep a functioning safety mechanism for the county. So when I tell you that I can't get somebody to come and apply for a jailer that's been out there for 4 weeks, now a investigator's position on TCO for over 2 weeks, and no applications for that one either. So at some point, and that may be a countywide initiative or something of that nature, we're going to have to get folks to look at, here's what goes on in the county and kind of support that we're going to need for that.
Sure.
I've got a few questions, Judge, when you.
Sure, go ahead. Yes, sir.
So it was brought up, and we know that everybody's working extra, we know everybody's working hard, but we've got some with comp time, we've got some with holiday pay and stuff. Have you taken care of those initiatives, or we still got a big liabilities holding on?
So it's my understanding, and I'll refer to some on that we're going to try to pay off some of that vacation time that has built up and built up. And when I say built up, we're talking about 3 years, right? So when we think of the amount of lingering vacation that has built up there, holiday time and things of that nature, that's over a 3-year period. There again, we've been very short-handed. You're aware of that. You've been involved in those conversations as well. So we've not had the ability, without putting the populace at risk, things of that nature, to have someone take off to burn that time. So
Right, well,
we have, yes, some.
the reason I was questioning that is because, and you said 3 years, the court was not aware of the extended 3 years.
Okay.
And so I understand the process and how the handbook and all that works. I mean, I understand that process and it come over, but that's a lot of time and a lot of liability that's sitting on us. And now we're going to say, we want to give them a 10% raise or whatever. Are they still going to get time off? Are we going to burn them out? Or are they going to leave? I mean, if they're not getting any time off or not enjoying their holidays,
Well, and
you might not want to work here.
exactly right. You might not want to work here for the amount of money that it pays, right? So when we think of trying to get someone here, because the reason that we're in part of this predicament is the shortage of manpower. And when you talk about down 2 or 3 men at a time on a department that's as small as ours, and trying to attract that person, really the only way that we attract a deputy here is to hire him off of the street and send him to school. Because we posted those openings. That's the only way we've been able to accomplish that. Now there are some benefits to doing it that way. But as far as attracting someone from somewhere else, let's go to Mills County and work there. When we look at the amount of salary that pays, not interested.
So if James doesn't mind, I'll speak a little bit on when we sat down and calculated rollover pay or rollover vacation holiday, that's what we rolled over. And when we did it, I did the calculation and the total month, the hourly amount we're paying, what we're gonna pay today, plus the taxes, plus the retirement is $69,000.
And so where does that come out of?
Well, that's a discussion, like, are we gonna create a new line in this department where we pay that out at one time? Do we wanna put it in the general fund as a one-time payout? Do you wanna not pay it out? Do you wanna put a limit on how much you wanna pay out, say you just wanna pay 80 hours and then?
Yeah, we can't make that decision in a workshop, but yeah, that needs to come to the court.
Yeah, we can build it well, so we have time for next commissioner's court.
Well,
I'm glad to
yeah,
talk about it whenever you.
yeah, I'm just saying.
Yeah, understood.
We should get roll or certified rolls tomorrow, then I think we should have a meeting just as soon as we can next week.
Yeah.
In regards to posting and we
Yeah.
should know more about what we can add and what we cannot add. So that's the value at that point. James and I talked about when y'all got ready to decide whether you wanted to do it or not, we were gonna sit down and discuss and rework this number. So we became more accurate. So on first payroll in October, I could pay, say you decide to just pay everybody's 80 hours off or whatever, that's what that number would be. We would pay it in October.
My next question would be on equipment line item 314. We're asking for 200,000 for equipment. And experience right now, I think is, or
I've got
12,000.
230.
230, so.
I mean, 230, and then you're asking, that's 72% increase over 4 years. Is,
So that 314 line that you're talking about, that's the 2 vehicles.
okay,
And what that
Each
is.
vehicle.
That's what that is. Okay. that,
145,000.
that makes sense, that makes
Yes.
sense, okay.
But do we not have some vehicles that were out of this year's budget that we have not received?
We have 1 vehicle that the city bought last year,
Okay,
and we have not received it.
have not.
You're correct.
And that's been going on for nearly a year, right?
Okay,
That's how hard it is to get vehicles. Yes, sir.
a
What
year
about
out,
So when this is appropriated in October, I fully expect that to be a next July or August thing. Before we receive those vehicles.
okay. Crime lab fees going way up.
But astronomical, yes, it's like everything else, increase in cost in analyzing that evidence and the amount of evidence that we're analyzing.
Or we're just making more use of it today than we did a few years ago. Is that maybe some of the point of that?
That's what I mean by the amount of evidence that we're analyzing today, is the uptick in the number of cases that we're producing in reference to that.
And this may be more of a Melissa question that Nick can answer this. And on the website, you think 1,800 is gonna get it?
That's,
I don't know.
and that is still,
That's awful low.
and it is, and when we think of that ADA requirement on those websites, I don't think there's anybody that's given a real number. I've not even heard of what a real number is, and I've heard more along the lines of 6,000.
Yeah, yeah.
So, but we
Okay.
still have 27 before we're up against that, so that is one of those things that we're going to have to work towards, yes.
Technology, your proposed budget is 75,000. Do you have new technology that you're wanting to get, that you're up in that, or?
Several things there. Melissa reminded me of one of the things that we were up against in that technology fund. Yes, there
Yeah,
were some things that we were having to upgrade in our training room, things of that nature, that some more of that
TVs that
end of
don't
life
work, yeah.
circumstances.
okay.
So when we think of that, here's one of the things that I want you to bear in mind when you think of that technology increase. Should there ever be a circumstance in this county, that would be the OIC. In other words, that would be the operations center for whatever capacity we had, just simply because of its capability at this point for TV screens and things of that nature, its capacity and the communications apparatus that we have in the jail. So that is one of the reasons for trying to keep that in some kind of a functioning.
But all your security cameras are gonna be covered in this year's budget.
Yes, sir.
Are they gonna be in, or do you have a clue?
It looks like it's entirely possible that all that will be completed before the end of the year. Yes, sir. That is going, that project is.
Before September?
Yes.
Okay.
But I thought somebody's gonna come after the budget,
Next, I
Okay.
think we're gonna be able to get it all out of this budget,
Okay.
and we will have the overage in this budget as well. So we've been very careful to make the best use of our funds to accommodate that.
and I will add, I've been in there several times, the clarity is so much better on these new cameras, it's tons.
When we get that done, I would invite each of you, y'all were a very big part of that project yourselves, to come and look and see. Not only are we getting better cameras, with better view, but more cameras as well to cover those blind spots that we've had in the jail since it's been there. So it is going to be fantastic. A significant improvement. Of what we did. And when we think of a significant improvement, here's where that becomes a very large thing for us, any kind of liability and what happens with those folks with whom we house.
Are we in the jail now? You wanna jump over the jail or are
Yeah.
we still in the sheriff's department?
Go to jail.
I gotta find it. Equipment. And fixtures,
Tell me what line, Commissioner.
314 again,
314.
314.
Yes, sir.
We budgeted 60 for numerous years, you're budgeting 60 again. And we have not ever met that threshold
That's where we're keep cameras on. Yeah.
this year.
Yes.
Okay,
Additional overage.
Yes, we will use a large part of that for the camera system, we will, and one of the reasons that we
Yeah.
budgeted that away, we had that conversation about if we lose an air conditioner or two air conditioners or something of that nature, then that 60,000 would be eaten up pretty quickly. So in circumstances like this year where we don't have to allocate those funds for such a thing, then it worked out great, where we could allocate them for within the camera system.
yeah, because you haven't used hardly anything out of that line item.
Purposely, Commissioner, we've been very careful to leave that alone because that was one of the places that we earmarked for that overage that we have in the camera system. So there again, we've been very frugal with those remaining funds wherever we had them at to account for what we're gonna have to come up with in.
So one more question on what you said to start off, you know, you're wanting to raise the revenues of putting more use of the jail, housing and stuff like that. That causes a ripple effect a little bit when you throw a rock in the pond like that and make it bigger. How's that gonna affect the utilities, food, lodging? Is that going, I mean, I know we're setting pretty good on all those.
So all of those things we analyzed, Commissioner, and I appreciate you bringing that up because that is one of the places that we looked in revenues on foods and things of that nature, and it doesn't impact. So when we think of, does it impact the staff? And it doesn't because they're already there doing those things. So one of the things that we looked
Okay.
at as far as utilities or anything, the air conditioner is gonna run whether that cell's got people in it or not, right? The lighting's gonna run whether there's people in that cell or not.
So it's not like a hotel room,
So when.
it's not on each room.
My jail admin and I analyzed that, that was one of the questions that we raised was, how much of an impact is that going to have on the existing structure and what we do as far as employees and things of that nature? It doesn't, so that was one of the things that we looked at very specifically about the benefit that we would get from raising that capacity. The only thing that we have to do to raise that capacity is just let those other entities know that we have that bed space, and that will be filled like that. Because there are so many other agencies that are looking for, and even those agencies that we house for now, all they need to know is we have bed space. And they'll bring more prisoners, so we didn't look at upping that rate by any means, the only thing we've got to do is increase the occupancy of what is there.
So
Why would
When you-
we not up the rate?
We get ourselves in a circumstance of there are many other new jails around as well, so, and they run that rate at about 75, so I don't know if that's something that maybe we couldn't visit in the future. But I don't think we need to at this point because of the space that we have now, so I don't look forward to increase the
How
rate
much
because we
space?
could price ourselves out of business, right?
How much space do we have? Because we all pretty well know that if you're housing prisoners at $75 a day in that facility, it's not making any money. It's
So
an
when we-
evil, it's an
When
evil.
we say it's not
necessary.
making any money, we say that it costs X to run this thing, right?
Yes.
But we can generate revenue on filling up those beds. So in other words, whether those beds are full or not, it costs X to run it. And if we can fill those beds, then the revenue that's generated from filling
I
those
call
beds
that-
doesn't make money, but it does give the taxpayer some relief, right? Or it provides a funding mechanism for,
I don't see that it gives, the taxes are gonna be, the taxpayers' money is gonna be spent regardless. I think
but if
what
we
it is,
generate another $100,000 and put in the budget, that.
it lessens your loss,
Exactly,
yeah,
yeah,
but it's not making any money because
it generates,
it's a necessary deal, it's a money loser anyway.
well, I don't think incarceration was ever, now, has it developed into that?
Yeah.
Some aspects, yes, but what we can do is lessen the burden on the taxpayer, or not ever put the burden on the taxpayer to begin with.
Yeah.
So,
Oh, that'd be great.
well, one more follow-up on that. If
Yes,
you
sir.
bring in extra housing for inmates from other counties, are we gonna put, I think years ago, we had who we could bring in. We don't want any just crazies or,
another excellent question.
are they gonna come in and wanna get their teeth fixed and hip replaced and have 2 or 3 babies while they're in there or whatever?
Right, so can we ever mitigate that? And I think the answer to that is no. However, we can be very specific about those that we house from other jails, right? So we can tell them, we don't want your crazies, we don't want your folks that are gonna be on chemo, we don't want those kind of things. We can be particular about that. For instance, Coryell County is a perfect example of that. And they have those prisoners that are not gonna be subject to transport back and forth to court and things of that nature. We don't want somebody that we're having to put in the restraint chair every day.
Yeah.
Things of that nature. So yes, we can be particular about the kind of prisoners that we house.
I didn't know if you're just
Out
gonna
of
open,
county.
Yes, sir.
yeah,
Yeah.
I didn't know if you're just gonna open it up.
Now then, for those that we take up off of the street, that's a little different.
Well, yeah, I understand that. I'm just-
It's more problem than, we have more issues with those that we have to arrest than we do those that we house from other counties.
Well, that's what I was just, you
Okay,
said
open
we were gonna open it up, and that's what I just wanna clarify.
Yes,
That
sir. That's an excellent.
we don't wanna have to be driving them back and forth to doctors and all that
That's-
other stuff. That's gonna cost us more money. That's that ripple effect that I was referring to.
Excellent question.
Okay, Sheriff, anything else, sir? Any other questions, commissioners? Sheriff, you'll do a great job.
Yes, sir.
And
We work
again-
very hard to do that. And
Again, you look, I mean, we disagree on these things, but again,
I understand that.
we just can't do the 10 and it's not that you're not worth it, so. Anyway, appreciate you coming. Appreciate you staying here the whole time. I guess we'll see you tomorrow, maybe in the criminal court.
Thank you for your time.
Sheriff, have a good day. Okay, shall we move on to precinct 1? Any comment?
Not for 5 minutes.
Oh, would you like to have a break? We've only been here 2 hours and 19 minutes without a break. How about we have a quick break? I think that'd be good.
Pause your.
What?
Pause your video if you're breaking.
Say that again, I couldn't hear you.
I think you
We'll,
may
we'll
need,
take a 5-minute break and the video will be going.
okay,
I don't know how to stop with that. Get probably net back up here, get it going again.
okay.
Yeah, we're taking a 5-minute break at 3:19. Oh. I thought my hands kind of moved that chair.
And it would be for lunch.
Yes, I just unmuted, and we're back in session, it's 3:37 PM. We're going to start the commissioners' budgets, and also Mr. Maloney, if you have any questions, we'll do yours too. I was gonna remind everybody that we do have to get elected official salaries out this week. I need to have it posted, and Ms. Campbell, is there, you're getting some direction from everybody on what we need to do. And when do you think you might have time for all those numbers there, elected official salaries with the 4% proposed?
I mean, you can take what you posted last year and multiply that by 4% and.
Okay, and just send the letter out?
Yeah.
Okay, straight across, okay.
If you wanna check it with me.
Yeah, we'll probably need to check it, so we can do that maybe tomorrow sometime.
Yeah.
And again, we won't get this posted in the paper too, and Monday.
I'll have it done by the week today.
Okay, we'll do more sometime.
Depends on how long.
Yes, well, let's try to get going, folks, on this. Mr. Malone, I know you may have to go. Is any questions for Mr. Malone's county, attorneys, budget commissioners?
I think
Any questions, comments?
we've already kind of grilled him the other day.
Yeah, we grilled Bill already.
So I'm free, man.
Well, let's go get questions. I don't.
I don't know if you're free.
I don't think that is.
So after we left that, I just wanna make sure that they understood that we set her salary at 50 plus the 6 for.
Contractor or something on it.
Plus, victim services.
That's right.
Yeah, Indiana University.
Then we have the,
We said,
county attorney.
yeah, it's her money. So it changed a little bit, so settings, Kara's at 50. Plus the 6, and then we did 9,000 for a visiting or assistant county attorney, and then we put the rest of the funds in the investigator.
And that was the 100, all that's coming out of your Senate bill money, right? Yeah.
All of that's that. That's all.
But Carrie is still a county employee?
Yeah.
Okay.
The law library, is that under your expense?
No,
I know the sheriff's department said they use it, but I didn't,
It's typically used by Judge Smith.
okay, just Judge Smith.
That's the only person that I'm aware that uses it.
The sheriff's department talked about on those tablets, they have a law library that they're gonna put on those tablets. Okay, and you don't use the law library, a different,
the main, law books that I use, there probably will be times that I would like to use the law library,
Yeah,
and I assume I have access to
okay,
it.
and Judge, do you use it?
No,
So,
Does JP use it?
I think she does.
Okay.
We usually use ours online. I mean, if we need to go through statute or something like that with bills changing.
Okay, so everybody can get on this, then this online
I
one?
don't know if it's the same one, but what we're using usually is online. Our Clerks Association and elections give us information.
Whatever Mike has purchased is a digital version. Instead of a real one.
Okay, anything else from Mr. Malone? Bill, thanks. We'll see you tomorrow morning. Yeah, I'll see you tomorrow. I'll be early for court. Okay, precinct 1, Commissioner, it might be Commissioner Sullivan. You have anything new news? We talked about this before. Anything else that's,
we talked about the, equipment. Robert and I were gonna go in on that mower wax. And I think he sent me a bill showing it 316,000. But that was with the front attachment that we didn't want that 16,000. And we could find one a little cheaper, so we took that off. So it's right at 300,000. Split it would be 150,000.
okay,
I was looking at trying to get another pickup. The one I've got is, got 297,000 miles on
I think it's time for a new one.
it, and I cannot keep the lights from coming on all the time.
Oh, mine went off since I had it.
And I imagine
And that get-
there's a lot
is that enough money for the new
of.
machine?
Yeah,
Okay.
if we do 150 apiece, that
Okay.
means 50,000.
Okay. Good.
And I can probably talk to some of these.
Judge, if you want to see a picture, that's that mower max. If you
Yeah, I've seen those at
Picture.
our conferences, yeah,
Yes,
that's really
they can-
nice.
I mean, it's a good.
That's really nice, that's really super, yeah.
It,
And
it,
we got a little Johnson grass growing around the corners. I don't know if anybody's ever called, Bill. I've had about 30 calls on the Johnson
I
grass.
had about 50 calls on why we're not.
Yeah, why don't y'all, Johnson grass is head out, we're. Okay,
I mean, we're trying
yeah, I
to.
know,
Fair as long as we can.
I know. All right,
And then, of course, fuel is going up.
yes.
I just got another 1,500 gallons and it cost me another $5,100. Oh, another $5,100 something dollars.
That's what PF&E,
PSE.
did we try to, have you called around? Have you called that, say that?
I've got a call from a lady in San Saba.
I'm actually personally friends with her, she's been posting her prices on her Facebook page and they're pretty good.
Are they,
Speak a
we
little-
might have to go with those.
there's also one in Hamilton and Comanche also, I think. I can't remember.
Comanche's
Yeah, that's Mark Martin's daughter.
Comanche's
Seven,
PFE.
Is it PF&E?
Yeah.
PF&E is going up.
I
And they're
called,
not coming down, that's what the driver told me.
well, they're not, they won't even give you a quote unless they can deliver it that day.
Right.
So it's not really PFE, it's everything that's going on that's happening, but every time except one time that I've called her, she's been more expensive than PFE, so.
So I think I just need to start looking right at.
Sounds good. All right, any questions for Commissioner Sullivan?
I think you need to reduce your tires. I mean, you're sitting there at $4,000 for the year, you've had 8,000. You've never used that and you're at 16,000 for tires.
I think we talked about this last time, we're
We did.
planning on getting a bunch of more new ones or something.
We were
Did I hear
gonna
that?
get, our maintainer tires, and they're just a little more expensive than vehicle tires, let's put it that way.
Yeah. I just bought 3 maintainer tires for $795 a piece.
The piece,
Yeah, we've done put 2 of them on, so.
well, I've got the 12/8, we need 3 new ones, and then the, 140. We need the 4 backwards replaced.
All right, any
You-
questions?
You still got a good bit of money on tires for this year.
Yeah, are you planning on buying those this year? Or are you gonna wait and buy those big tires next year?
Well, we were gonna wait till next year.
What are you gonna do with this year's money?
How much money do you think is
I've
there?
got 4,000 left in.
You spent 6, you have 8.
Spent 6. Okay,
And that's just my sense.
Oh,
Probably more than
okay.
8.
Yeah, these are 4 and 30.
Yeah, these are old.
Yeah.
Okay, anything else for Commissioner Sullivan? Hearing none, Commissioner Head's not here, so. I don't think there's, you already talked about sharing that equipment with Commissioner Head. All right, hearing nothing there.
Well, Robert wanted me to mention that, and he's come and talked to you, Judge,
Yeah,
about it,
I know about-
and
yeah,
so he wanted to make it that instead of doing a percentage, that we do maybe instead of a percentage raise across the board, that we just do a $1
$1,
flat rate,
mention that to me.
and that would support the sheriff's department would get a little less on their raise on the percentage wise and then everybody else would get a little bit more. So
So I asked the question, how complicated is that? Where you have to figure all that, instead of what someone will get 92 cents per hour, I think increases a 4% raise. He's saying just make it a complete dollar.
Just for our.
just for hourly employees, not elected.
So it's just whatever they're making now, plus the dollar times the amount of hours that we budget for the year.
Yeah.
It's simple.
Simple.
Okay. Well,
Yeah,
y'all good with that?
But the dollar is gonna be, for most employees, gonna be more than the 4%.
correct, but it'll be less on some others.
Or what it figures, but
I don't know what it figures either that way.
if the average is 92 cents,
Something like nearly 5%.
I don't think there's anybody out there that really likes a percentage, because actually your higher paid employees are getting more money than your lesser paid employees, and that's not really what you're working for, but.
So you can take that theory and apply it to elected officials, because there would be a dollar comes to the number of hours that we budget for the year, and that would be the rate, so it would actually be.
$2,080 more a year.
Yeah, so if you want to apply it that way, everybody gets the same, easy math,
Okay, I don't care, what everybody wants to do.
I think,
but I need to know. if I
Well,
wanna go to it tonight or early.
I just was wanting to say that because that's what Robert, you know, since he couldn't be here. Yeah.
Well, I'm good with it. It's not too difficult to figure out, you know, okay?
Well, I would say if you're gonna do that, then we need to figure it both ways, 4% versus the $1 to see what it is, but
well, it's gonna be less than 4%.
it could be more than 4%.
On the average employee, it ended up being 92 cents. So that's what.
That's what he told me, 92 cents is like the average.
On the average employee. So,
So a dollar,
actually, a dollar is more than 4%.
that's what I'm saying. We may not wanna go with the dollar,
They may not be able to.
yeah.
You know, all this is still hypothetical.
So y'all want to do that or just do the 4%?
How many hourly employees are there, Summer?
Oh, gosh.
Well, let's figure how many elected officials minus 48.
It's 41 slow. Well, that's not true, because I calculate, the district judge and the DA's by salary people. But whichever way you go, it's down from.
No, I'm just trying to figure out money, 2,080 times however many
That's all. 48.
hourly employees.
Times, and then times,
48.
36. I mean, it's gonna be complicated. That's, I'm trying to keep from getting too complicated on your.
Yeah.
I mean,
What are you talking about?
well, don't you have some that are at the sheriff's department that are salary?
Well, I only have one person that's sorry over there. Yeah, like Jennifer came to me, well, Tansy was sick, but he typically calls me, we do whatever the county does. Percentage wise. But I don't have an hour, right, together, they're just. You should calculate about the percentage divided by 26. Yeah. Yeah. We did. A dollar.
okay, so Commissioner Parney, you're doing some figuring there. You got any numbers or questions?
It looks like it'd be another 76,960 off the budget. To me on hourly employees.
I just think it's easier to really do 4%, just everybody.
Overall, people.
It's roughly
I mean,
80,000.
yeah, I got 76,900, but you got 70.
How much more? Yeah, it's
It's
about,
not really gonna be anymore, it depends on how you wanna figure
Yeah.
it, whether you wanna figure it 4%. 4% would probably, in the long run, 4% would actually probably, it'd probably be the same, cause what he's saying is the higher elected uh, people are gonna get more money because they make more salary per year. But if you do the elected people at 4% and the hired hands at $1, it's not gonna make any difference.
So on law enforcement, they were at 21.84
Yeah, we gotta,
because they're on, we do a different,
their statute, they have a,
that's different.
Okay, yeah, I don't know how to figure it out.
okay, so,
4% would be good with me, I mean.
okay,
I will live better and better.
let's do 4%. Okay? Anything else on Roberts? Okay. Commissioner Parton, it's all yours.
Okay, I went up, you wanna start at the top, I went up on from 1,200 to 1,500 on training because it looks like we're going to overrun from one year to the next because of where I go. Phones and utilities, I went up $500 cause I guess at some point we're probably gonna get, internet.
what?
I'm not gonna need it, but the office.
So you do your AI training.
Yes. Equipment, I put 50,000 in, I had a deal to put on next week's deal. The guy called me when we got here, he sold it, so. Really need that with the new bridge, it's already clogged up. We have no means of cleaning it out. Either need a backhoe with an extendo or an excavator, or we're gonna have to rent one every time we use it. I thought about renting for a year just to see how much. With that, not being able to get that machine when you need it. So, anyway, we had one, we drove 500 miles the other day and he sold it a while ago, so. That would be for a backhoe or something to be able to put the horns in and clean the bridge out. The backhoe that we have, I was gonna try to get it all done this year. Because I do still have, we sold the truck and the trailer, we traded the old blade in. And lessen the cost on the new blade, try to get it all out of the way this year, but at some point we need some form of backhoe or excavation unit.
You think 50 is gonna get it?
Well, the one that I was looking at was a little more than that. It was 50,870. We looked at one that was 59, but it wasn't an extendo.
That's what I was gonna say, extender hose usually.
So.
Excavator.
No,
Look,
it's a backhoe with an extendo, yeah. Did not have a grapple. It's hard to find a backhoe with a grapple. The only deal with the excavator is they move so slow that every time that you're gonna use one, you're gonna have to load it to go wherever you're going, so that's the downside. That's a problem, but I got 50,000 unless we can get something done this year, still trying. Repairs, I left that the same. We've had knock on wood, a pretty good year on repairs. Miscellaneous, I left it 1,500. Right now well, in past years, we use 1,000 and 1,300. Material, I've still got it 200,000 mainly because FEMA wouldn't allow any of our washout areas to be classified as FEMA projects. We had 5 of them, so putting 200,000 in for material on non-FEMA roads and the possibility of doing some concrete crossings on our own.
Okay.
Left fuel and all at 35, we'll make do, we'll transfer some money. Left my tires at 8, we're so far been good there, so.
Right, any questions?
I will throw one other thing in though, and I know you're gonna think it sounds like a broken record. If we are gonna go FMLA, I think you're gonna start looking at having a third employee, because the way FMLA reads to me is it has less qualifications for more time off. And if they elect to use it, they can get up to 12 weeks. So you're very
Well,
possible,
weeks is the limit that they can take off on FMLA.
yeah. So, I don't know if FMLA, we had never done it, I've just read the stats on the way it reads. I don't know if that covers you on sick leave, vacation, or if that's 12 weeks just because of FMLA.
So I think it runs concurrent with your leave. It can. There's a lot of different scenarios that can play out. That's what I'm saying. There's gotta be a lot of training. to go
You
before
can-
we start all this.
Yeah, I can't be any more adamant, I'm very much against them FMLA, but if we go above that 50. I do think that each precinct needs an extra road hand, because I can see it playing out to the fact that somebody's going. Maybe need it or not need, we ran into it last year, we had an employee, good employee. His dad was sick and he was gonna do the use his sick leave. His dad did not live within his household. I told him, I'm not telling you not to go see your dad, you need to. But we need to find other means of getting you off. Paid, not. And we did, I mean, he had enough vacation time, he had enough time built up, comp time that he didn't need it, but at the same time. If he wanted to, that same employee could have took 3 months off.
I mean, I know this is not, I'm on the handbook committee, so my question is, after we get training on FMLA, we may have to revisit some of our handbook policies. and
Oh, you will.
You're gonna have to.
To see how this best integrates, and I see where you're going, I
Yeah.
do. But.
I mean,
I
You
think
could
our old
automatically-
policy had FMLA in it, one of the older policies. So,
But I think the laws change around FMLA really frequently, so I think we'll have to get the current training and see where we go from there.
So I guess from that standpoint, I would say if it definitely looks like we're going FMLA. And boy, that's gonna skyrocket it. I think the precincts do need the extra employee.
You know, if one takes off for 12 weeks,
You're down to one.
Years in a row, it's tough.
Oh, I have too. I was with one hand for 6 months. And hired one and he lasted about 6 months and I was out 6 months again.
well, precinct one, went a while, they kept rolling
Precinct
through there.
one, no hands at one point. And that wasn't even with FMLA, so it may not have anything to do with it, but I do think when you go above it.
Some requirements that they have to meet for it to be FMLA. So
There is, but it's a lot wider range.
I'd like to say I could Sean come back in, but I can't say Sean anymore. Lori's gonna have to come back. We're just gonna have to get in there.
Well, Robert's already gave Sharon a hug today, so.
And I want to elaborate, since he's brought that up, that's what's on mine is as I want that third hand. I've asked for it for years. I mean, even if it was one way we shared between 2 precincts and just get 2 new hands for the road ends. But, you know, I mean, it's been brought up by many offices today that they're overworked.
Yeah.
And as me as a commissioner, and I know Dale's called me several times, he's overworked. I'm overworked.
I should ask for another person. So I'm gonna have to
But that's what I'm saying. I mean, if we're all doing,
No argument there, is also those taxpayers we always gotta look at too. I mean, I agree, y'all could use another hand. And I hope the next, if we can do this with the other two we're talking about, I would definitely say Commissioner Williams, next year y'all need to definitely look another.
well, I've been told that for years, so that next year has never come, and I've been here 14 years, so. And so, are you done? I didn't mean to
Yeah.
step on your, I just
No,
followed
I'm
up on
done.
you.
He's done. Next.
Anyway, well, mine starts off with, asking for a third road hand. If we don't get a third road hand, or we don't even discuss that, I'd like I'm gonna preach what everybody else is preaching. I think we as elected officials need more money. And I think the public needs to know that. Yes, Dale, we did take this job for this pay. I do understand that. But what is being passed down to us on work that we're having to do, you take that job survey and you look at it and you look at other counties making that same money. Well, those commissioners are not even road commissioners.
No.
So you can't compare apples to apples. They're getting $60,000 and they're only doing part-time work.
Well, they're all.
And so- We're having to do lots of work. When that FEMA happened in 24, they asked us to start keeping a record of our hours worked. And if you look at my book, I mean, I don't know, I haven't sat down and put it in pen to paper, but I bet you it's at least close to 50 hours a week. And did I ever do that before? No. So I think that, and I would be happy with the help of somebody else, with another employee. I think that would benefit us all. I do think Dale makes a good point on the FMLA. I do think that. I dropped down to school and training. I put 7,000 and increased it. I know Dale made a comment about this last time. But I put in there to get CDL certification. Just in case I need that. To hire a new hand, but if we're not gonna get a new hand, that does not need to be in there. Equipment, would love a pickup for the commissioner to use. I've got rodeos, not radios.
Awesome.
They don't cost much.
It's been a rodeo.
Yeah. Need a new AC, something for the air conditioning and heating in our office. I sat there in the office and just sweat now. So,
Can I say something on that? I don't know what you got, but I bought a heat pump.
that's what I'm gonna get. It's
And it has cut our electric bill in way less than half as opposed to that old one sitting there running nonstop.
Yeah.
And it was
Yeah,
less
it
than
is good.
$500.
Yeah.
My refrigerator is just barely hanging on. It's hard to keep anything. Went in there yesterday and the ice is all melted and had a big old
Y'all have
pile of water
ice?
in there. Yeah. Anyway, so, yeah, I buy that, and so, miscellaneous, several things that I, had, wanted to, let's go to a different page here. Well, I want radios that, like I said, I would love a new computer. Yes, it's the same radios, but David's trying to go through a grant. And if he doesn't get it in the grant, then, the pit that we go, two of the pits that we go to, Porter's, or used to be Porter's, Allen Keller's and Texas Materials, they require you to have CBs in your trucks. So they can tell you to
So
pull
they can
forward
talk-
and not pull forward.
They can talk to you.
So they can talk to you. They don't communicate on the,
We're shafted.
and so,
Sorry.
but yeah. Well-
We don't have money to trade with them, I'm sorry.
They're cheaper than Scott McCoy. They're $7.50 a
No,
yard.
they're actually not. We got to have a CD in the truck so we can communicate.
But it's only $150. I mean, it's not a lot. It's just that you gotta have them in the trucks. All the road hands have made the comment that they want radios in the truck so they can communicate with each other when they're dumping and spreading out. That was at the last, training on, Commissioner's Workshop. We talked about that on February the 23rd on what we wanted, to put in there. The road material, of course, let's see, repairs and supplies stay the same, miscellaneous stay the same. Road materials, went up a little bit. I am, like Dale, I'm wanting to do a cement, location that FEMA denied. I would like to do the chip seal areas, either hiring it out and seeing if I can do that. Of course, materials, and then there's a couple of rentals that I need to get under some bridges, like what you were talking about, mainly on County Road 430, that I cannot get the backhoe under. It's too tall. And the bridge is, it was been written up by TxDOT on a write-up, so I'm gonna have to rent that. Some of the signage, a lot of my signage is now missing at around the Swinging Bridge area, that we're supposed to have up for weight limit bridges and stuff. Those signs are being shot up and destroyed and everything else like that. Truck and hiring trucking out onto that road material is basically hiring trucking. So, and that's probably going to eat up a bunch. That 30,000 extra right there is hiring the trucking. Dropping on down fuel. I've been pretty good, knock on wood, with the fuel. Tires, I'm going to be able. We talked about that at the last little workshop. We need to order tires. Me personally and the Unified needs to order tires, and that is about it. Fund 15, we talked about purchasing an asphalt trailer. We've talked about fire extinguishers, fire shelters, the water station behind the EMS, asphalt supplies. We need new pulleys for the FAE and overtime pay for emergency work and radios. So more radios. The reason radios keeps changing, it's because the price keeps changing. Went from, David said 60,000, and you go to that meeting that we had at the LLC, said, oh, you can get them for those BAF radios, Balfour, you can get them for about $150 a piece. So I don't know. I can't figure out what the price of radios
Well, I was talking to a lady the other day, and I won't mention any names. She's associated with Mills County. She said the one she carries around costs $8,000, and it's got dead places. Same places, you got dead places with the cheap ones. So I think places are just gonna be dead.
And David had me drive all over one day. We drove forever and I could not get service
I did.
in a lot of places.
Yeah, I was all out around 315, 330, 324.
Yeah.
I mean, or 424, 427, and I couldn't hear nothing.
So I don't know. I know I know the emergency management is pushing, and the sheriff's department is pushing us to have that communication application, because it's every time we've had a meeting, that's what they're talking about. And so anyway, that's the joint of it.
Okay,
Any questions?
questions for Commissioner Williams?
I had something. Your 75,000 miscellaneous, and is that for,
75,000 miscellaneous?
yeah,
How about
On their
2,500?
your equipment list?
Oh, equipment, yeah. I,
I'm probably looking at the wrong.
no, I would like to, no, you're right. You're right. I would like to purchase, a skid steer. I would love to have a skid steer. Robert said if I got it, he's gonna be the first one in line to borrow it.
I'm sure he will.
So he's gonna say that. Again, yeah, that could be, that's, again, we're doing wish list here today, and that's what, that's one thing I would love to have. Again, 75,000 will not get you a new one.
It's not gonna buy a new.
It's not gonna, it's gonna get you a really used one. The other thing is if I got another hand, I might even consider another truck. And so, and I think 75,000 could get you a truck. Maybe not as good as Kelsey, but knock on wood. Knock on wood, but for the price that you got there, but I
Okay,
don't want one smokestacks and all that other stuff in a cab, but anyway.
questions?
I have a lot of questions, so I'm still I just wanna
Good.
kind of go.
Yes, I have some too. I'll go ahead.
Review things, because I need to go down and calculate payroll and put it in the system, that way you know, when get certified rolls, I can send out the budget workshop, and y'all can see where we're at. So I'm gonna add a full-time position in tax assessor, and we're gonna start it at 20, or we're gonna cap it at 20. We're gonna do a full-time person in JP, and we're gonna cap it at 20. We're gonna do a supplement pay in clerks, and we're gonna do 5, 2, 2, and 2. And then each precinct is requesting a road.
I don't know
I don't
about
think
each
the budget's
precinct.
gonna allow that.
I think each precinct is, I have asked for one. I don't know if the other precincts.
How do you want me to calculate payroll, with it or without it?
Me, I want it with it, but
I would
I think
calculate
it's,
it with
I
it,
think it's impossible, but I'd say with it.
but
Okay, well, so my next question is, are you gonna come back and increase your budgets to have equipment, gas, road material for 3 people to be working? Is there a possibility of those changing?
that ripple effect is what she's
Yeah.
talking about.
I think if you had it, which I don't expect to have it, I think you just have to live with what you have
Okay.
as far as expenses. I do think inevitably, if you add that third road in, you're probably gonna be looking at a lot of extra equipment there. Keep them busy.
Sooner or later, yeah.
And I can already tell you what a new maintainer costs.
Yeah, we should do that. And I just wanna make sure that in road and bridge, the overtime is $2,000, is that what you put on your basic, or was it, did I misread it?
Hang on, I got so many papers up here.
Or everybody else can do it?
4%. Yes.
I think that was right. I thought it was, yeah, I can't remember. I can't find it.
And then you'll see when I do the 2,000, I have to add the package and piece of water as a budget. And we'll get it tomorrow.
I had overtime at 2,500.
What's ROW?
Right away. But guys, I would love to buy tires for the unified equipment this year.
Well, there's a lot of money left in there.
Well, there's 9,000, but you saw that, or something like less than 9,000 in there.
Yeah.
But you're gonna turn around, and as hot as it is, we could have blowouts in the next few months. That'll even be, we'll be short.
Well, we done
So-
like,
You take the money that you have budgeted in architecture and engineering that you have left over and move it to your tax.
Okay. Well, I just think we need to get them ordered.
Yeah.
And have them sitting here, because you don't wanna be on the side of the road. for-
don't, you let your tires go down to nothing.
Well, if you do what
No, I'm serious.
Sheriff Jones wants us to do,
run Michelin.
he wants us to run Michelin so that we,
Equivalent.
We don't need this.
Or equivalent, yeah. But we can't afford those, so, but.
Yeah, I think we need to get after it because I know there's several of the belly dump tires and probably some of the truck tires I hadn't seen on the two trucks. Some of the belly dump tires.
I know that
are
Brazos
in need of
needs them bad.
replacement, and that's.
Okay.
very
The
poor.
other thing I forgot to propose was that, do y'all want to consider paying off a portion of the rollover time? You want me to present that number in the budget, because I can't do the taxes, the only time that one in. I can.
If we're going, are we, the rollover time, and I started to ask Sheriff Jones that. The rollover time, is it figured at the salary of the year that it was happened, or is it figured at current day salary?
Current It's as cheap as it can be.
You're gonna save money if we're gonna have to do that by doing it before the new budget.
I'm gonna budget it at this rate.
Yeah,
We're gonna say we're paying it at this rate, if we're making on this day. But
Oh.
there was also a talk about a commitment of, we weren't gonna roll over time again, and it wasn't gonna be a continuous thing.
Yeah.
And that, that goes through Jet's office.
that to me needs or has to be done. You know, if you got it, you use it or you lose.
So are you asking to put it in this budget or the current budget season we're in now or
Or next budget.
Okay,
So that'd be the.
okay. Yeah, I would say put it in there then.
Yeah.
I would put it, I don't know where you're gonna put it, miscellaneous
No, I'm gonna put it.
contention.
Set it, no. Well, that, another. You want to get out of general fund, you want to get it in there.
I'd prefer it be in their budget. But I don't know what y'all's point is. You want it in their budget or you want it in general fund?
I just wanna make sure it don't happen again.
Well, the
I don't know, general fund, I guess it's fine. 'Cause-
budget protocol says that you want control over it, put it in the budget.
But in general.
Put in general fund then.
And I may take that line out where we paid the one time, or I may make it a combo line where we paid out the COLA to retirees. Remember us? doing
Yeah.
that? And use that one,
Okay,
or it. would
cause
be-
we're probably gonna get hit, we're not this year, but we're probably gonna get hit with that again.
I would think it would be a little off.
I think he said that we were good. Yep. We're ahead of the game. Yeah, now it could come back next year, but. Especially since we did raises, so.
Yeah, I'll probably, it's 2,500, 351 is retiring benefits, I'll probably try to put it right underneath there. And monitor them.
Okay, Judge, have you set another date?
Well, I got a couple of things before we start, before we finish. So, contingency, I don't think we have anything, didn't budget anything this year.
Well, in the past, we've had excess funds, and that's where you put excess funds is in contingency or miscellaneous expense. We did not have any excess funds. Now, can you still budget a contingency? Yes. But like if you're
That's a okay.
It's just up to you on how you want to do.
I don't care. Another deal I had, the clerk's office and I and several others are, if it's in the budget, it's one of those deals, if we can, we need new chairs in the courthouse. Grand jury room, just clerk room, my office, and I've gotten quotes, I think I mentioned this earlier. It's better to get new chairs. Or
Yeah, I missed.
okay, the quote, I did get a quote, 38 chairs, guy counted 38 chairs is $7,512.
It's not the clerk's office, it's the courtroom.
Yeah, I mean, district court, yeah, sorry.
It's not my office.
District courtroom,
The courtrooms.
grand jury in this
Grand jury.
office here. These are spongy, well, I don't guess we have any here, do we?
No, we do. There's-
Yeah.
there's a little bit.
The springs or shops, anyway, you can do that, that's another thing. I visited with, we're still waiting for numbers from two different people, the audit, we're waiting to hear from, San Angelo, Eckert and Company, they're gonna get back to us in 2 weeks, I sent that email here.
She's gonna send it out next week,
Okay,
so you should, it's gonna be e-signed,
okay.
so you'll get it on your email.
Okay, so we got that. Also, I think we've discussed this, we got some numbers, but the tax SERA deal, we got that in, I guess, for next year's budget, because that's what we're gonna pay for it, the migration fee and then the charge also, which is somewhere I had it, here it is right here. The annual fees $9,500, the migration fees $8,950. And that should be in next budget, so I guess that's under
It's gonna be under technology.
technology, yeah. Yeah. I couldn't remember if I told you that or not,
We just did a roundout number of 60,000 because we haven't gotten the same.
okay?
Remind he wants to move law enforcement's phones to VoIP lines. I don't know if that's, but you're not, you wanted a new computer, that's what we want.
Also, I've reached out, I know Ms. Campbell has two Goldsmith, I still have you heard any news from Sam yet? I haven't texted him lately. I'd called and he said he'd get to us, so,
No, it's not necessarily budget related, with the security audit that I mentioned, I wanted to talk to them about that and see what their involvement was gonna be. And I got a response, I guess I emailed them, and I got a response that he was out of the office.
Okay.
Finding him back, give him a minute.
so again, and finally regarding, the elected officials numbers, Ms. Campbell, you're gonna be able to get that next day or two, the 4%. For the elected officials, so it's what we do for the, send out to all our elected official salaries, and then we'll post the paper next week.
That would be you and her, but you would have to give it to her and see if your calculations are correct. That's what you said
Yeah.
earlier.
Last year.
So just do it times 4%, okay, that's, and then you can double check, okay,
The supplements,
yes.
what kind of supplements they are.
But we can do that, and then you can check our numbers and stuff, and we'll try to get those elected officials maybe.
I'm ready to go, I think with 4%, I can just copy and paste them.
Okay, we can do that. And then that way we can get it out to the elected officials later this week, and then we gotta get the paper, like I said, Monday, so.
Okay, couple others, public notices was over. Do we need to raise that up?
I did raise it, let me look.
That has been, I don't know where it's at. Let me, 10, 500, 509.
So we've been budgeting at 1,200 and I moved it to 6,000.
Okay,
The more meetings we have, the more persons we have elections. Is,
yeah,
I think all those things will increase.
it did, yeah. It's also, we had to go out for, we're going out more for fuel and materials and stuff like that. The law library was over.
Right, so I decided to,
And he said 6,000.
that calculation is based on what I think some quarterly, so what he does is he tracks his cost of every quarter since me. What the total was, and we have to pay 11% of all their costs. But he didn't be able with it broken down.
Well, I just knew
It
that,
should be pretty simple.
okay, back in March, it was,
Next-
we were
next step.
overdrafted.
Is,
Yeah.
Well, we get our certified numbers tomorrow, I'll send out to everybody, and we'll give them to Charles Miles, and he can start working on some things.
Okay.
And then we got Commissioners Court Monday, and we'll need to probably another budget workshop sometime next week.
Well, Charles can't do his stuff until I get my. stuff
Yes.
done.
Yes.
Well,
So,
you're-
I'm trying to-
then we start the budget whacking.
budget whacking is a good term, weed whacking.
So what's your calendar? What are you setting your calendar at? I mean, I guess that's not something.
Any date's not good for you, Ms. Campbell, that's,
Do it in next. What date that was for mine.
If you have any. They've got football workouts on here pretty quick.
Well, she doesn't.
You're not going to that?
You can have district court on the 29th. I don't know if that's what y'all were looking at last week.
I'm gonna be out that morning on the 29th.
The 29th will be tough for the clerk's office. I've
Yeah.
got 1 hour vacation.
Bad picture. That's right.
Make it work,
And-
but it's gonna be tight.
It's gonna be when Miss Campbell get all these numbers, so what works best for your schedule?
Well, you gotta have the clerk there.
I can't do the 29th either. I'd rather do the 28th. I'd
Okay.
really rather do it then, honestly, if you guys can do it. And that
Morning
was
or afternoon better for you?
Morning,
Okay. What time morning?
10 o'clock is, well, how does that affect y'all? What's better? for
Is that
y'all?
payroll? No,
No, I do
that's
payroll
week
on
before.
Eight,
It doesn't matter.
8 o'clock.
Doesn't matter, maybe what
Monday.
is it?
I mean, sometimes I say 8 o'clock is better. Can we say 8:30? That
Yeah.
gives me 30 minutes to get in my office and clear out whatever problems.
So-
Cause 10 o'clock, we kinda gotta sit around for a couple
That's
hours.
fine with me. So is it 8:30 or 9, gentlemen?
8:30.
8:30? So that's July 28th, and then, if you can hear me, we're gonna do a workshop, budget workshop on July 28th, Tuesday, starting at 8:30 AM.
And then we meet every Monday,
Yes.
correct?
Yes.
Is that on the calendar?
That's on the calendar. Yes.
Okay, but we still got the stuff, or are you gonna do that when the museum? The other.
I hadn't called them in. You have when you call them in?
So they haven't seen, you haven't seen the budget workshop. I'm hoping to get that out to you tomorrow. And so you'll see their request. I have everybody's request. in here.
No, I got them here. Redneck ones.
Well, I thought they gave the last commission.
Oh, you're talking about their request, okay.
Yes.
No, I'm,
I didn't know if you had seen them.
no, I have not seen what
No,
they're.
we haven't seen the public side of it.
I'm just trying not to bombard you with information before it's
Just,
not at all.
I know he's gonna get the numbers out to us tomorrow, but when is Mike McBride's funeral service?
It's gonna be informal, it's like no family, I think, real small,
That's-
private.
That's Hall's granddad.
Stacy, family only, I thought, I saw on Stacy Wilkins.
Our-
That's-
our
Yeah, it's like
tax
a
collector
small
down
private service,
Oh,
what I saw.
Okay, I didn't know.
It'd been-
Shouldn't be any reason for him to
Kristen
be-
Hall's daddy.
I'm sorry.
There's no reason for him to be here. We'll have-
I know, I just didn't know if, for some reason, if it was tomorrow and we're supposed to get the numbers tomorrow, is that gonna postpone it or whatever? I didn't know. I just didn't wanna.
Well, they have till the 25th, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, the table will have a private celebration of life. It's a win.
So I'm just saying, if we don't get them tomorrow, that could be.
I'll say, so we got commissioners court this upcoming Monday, and then July 28th workshop at 8:30 AM. Got it. All right, are we finished, everybody? You want to stay another hour or so? Done? Good job, everybody. All right,
I do have a summer question and,
Okay.
no, go ahead.
whatever, I can go ahead and bring us out. What are you gonna do?
Bring us out.
Bring us out, I'll make a motion, we end the workshop. Second, all those favoring the workshop, say aye. Aye. Workshop ended at 4:20 PM.